I like real people. People that are struggling and want to do well in their life and want to work. The more famous I become, the more ingrates and the more bums I've met. I mean, I must be in the wrong circle. This being famous is not all it's cooped up to be. Listen, let me tell you about people. People are opportunists. They look for a chance for you to fall, but they stay close to you as if they're your friend or your empower. But as soon as the opportunity comes, that's when everybody stick their forks in your neck and in your back. But then one day, if you're strong and you overcome your adversity, then it's going to be their turn. But let's see how well they handle it. I don't think that the people that can handle it well as I handle it. They're not as tough as they think they are. Everyone thinks they're a tough guy, they're a big shot, but they're not. Deep down inside, if you strip them down for what they truly are, they're cowards because they manipulate and they misuse people. And only cowards do that because they're insecure themselves and their own manhood. I talk to the smallest, wimpiest guy in the world the same way I talk to the biggest, baddest motherfucker. I say something behind their back just like I said in front of their face. I like real.
Yes, yes, yes. Mr. Raphael Dawkins with the Combat Radio. And what are we? What are we on? What are we on? This is Boxing Talk with Rafi. Let me stop sharing that. Okay. Let's have a look what's going on. Let's do the sound check. Yes, yes. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so this is Boxing Talk with Rafi. What is it? I think we're on 124. 124. And okay, what's happened to my screen? It's all good. Let me get rid of this. I think we're done with that. So let's get situated. Let's show the people what this really is. Show them what it is. Is that it? Yeah. Boxing Talk with Rafi 124. Tyson, Holyfield, Parker versus Browne. Teofimo Lopez has got some things to say. And I'm sure that we will have some things to say. What time is it now? Okay, what we doing now? What we doing? Okay, so for those who have never been here before, if you're the first timers, I'll just explain how we do it. Okay, so this is first and foremost, this is where the good people come to meet. We want to talk about boxing and combat sports. This is the place to be. There are good people in here. We have some good chats in here. I'll be dropping the link in here very, very shortly. As a matter of fact, I'll be dropping the link off immediately after we go to the warm-in video. I see people populating the area. Who we got? We got Philip Carl Roberts in the building. We got Mr. Squiggly. I call him Mr. Squiggly because I don't speak Arabic and I don't read it either. In the building. Who else we got? We got Troy Graham up in the building. I'll drop the link in during the warming video, so you're ready to jump in. Troy. Who else we got? Yes. Got some people in the background. Well, just watching, no commenting at the moment. Everybody, welcome. You are in tune to Boxing Talk with Rafi 124. We got some juicy bits. We got some juicy bits for you. So I think now the music has come to an appropriate end. I think it's appropriate to line up the warming video, let people get in and getting comfortable and acclimatized. Okay. So just had a little bit of rainfall over here in the UK, Midlands area, Heartlands, Lord of the Rings area. Just had a little bit of rain, but essentially we've had a hell of a lot of sunshine over this COVID era, this COVID period. Had sunshine earlier on. A little bit of rain, but I don't mind that. It's still warm and a little bit muggy. So, damn. Okay. So we are now officially live. I've just heard the notification. So let's drop this. Let's drop the picture and bring in the warming video. Allow people to get in here, get comfortable, get warm and cozy and acclimatized. Okay, so let me select this, and I think we're good. I think we are good. Let's get the volume right. Needs to be high, and let me just check to make sure I'm sharing the screen. I think I'm sharing the screen. Let's tidy that up a little bit. Let's go full. Let's go full. Okay, that looks a lot better. Okay, so we are watching. Let's get the appropriate thing up. We are watching, or about to watch right now, the warm-in video, and talk to you in a few minutes. Let's go. Yes, yes, yes. Mr. Raphael Dawkins with the Combat Radio. Joseph Parker apparently is being lined up to fight Lucas Browne in August. Okay, so this story comes from David Higgins. Okay, so David Higgins, as we know, used to be Parker's promoter, but since he signed with the Zone, Parker, that is, David Higgins has stayed on with Parker as his manager. He works very closely with, what was that? Let's say, damn, Lucas Browne. This is Lucas Browne's, what is it, Twitter or Instagram? It's Lucas Browne's Instagram's got some very interesting things in his story. David Higgins has come out with a statement that he's working very closely with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has given them the green light to go ahead and do a recce, do some due diligence on when Joseph Parker can fight again down there in New Zealand. David Higgins says that Eddie Hearn of Matchroom wants him to put together a card, a scaled down card within the rules and regulations with Joseph Parker. And Higgins goes on to say they've looked at the potential candidates, and Lucas Browne stands out head and shoulders above the rest, or somewhat above the rest. David Higgins goes on to say that Lucas Browne has fought, the only people he's lost to are very good fighters. I don't know where Dave Allen fits into that. Maybe Higgins forgot about David Allen, or maybe he did not. The article goes on to say, in our part of the world, the most experienced heavyweight possibility for Joe is probably Lucas Browne. If you read his record, his losses have been to very good fighters. He's a guy that probably deserves a shot. I think he's talking about Lucas Browne. Higgins will get word next week if he can move forward with putting together the event. The aim is to stage a card with no more than 100 fans in attendance, obviously relating to the COVID-19 restrictions. The article goes on to say, we are blessed to have a wonderful promotional partner in Matchroom who indicated that they would provide their blessing and support to look into doing an event in New Zealand. It says in the New Zealand bubble. I don't understand what the New Zealand bubble is. What is the New Zealand bubble? Matchroom said, yes, do some due diligence. So right now we're in partnership with Matchroom
with doing the due diligence on a possible Joseph Parker fight in New Zealand in August. The article goes on to say the location is a bit further down the track in the checklist. Safety first. Got to make sure that everyone is safe and that everything fits in accordance with government rules and regulations. And of course, then there's the matter of its economic viability. How economically viable will it be to have an event headlining Joseph Parker and Lucas Browne with only 100 people in attendance? Obviously, they're going to have to look at the maths. They're going to have to see what they can do with that. This fight, this card, it would be beneficial to DAZN since they're rolling out their launchpad. They're launching in Europe and New Zealand. So clearly, DAZN are eager to get any events underway that they can get underway. It's not being very fortunate, this COVID-19, very unfortunate for DAZN looking to roll out their platform. More countries in Europe, in the UK, and further afield down in the Australasias, the Oceania region. Yeah, this would be beneficial if it's economically viable. So it's Joseph Parker, it's David Higgins looking to make a fight with Lucas Browne in New Zealand, tentatively scheduled for August with all the provisos previously mentioned. Okay, so what say you? It's the Raphael Dawkins, it's the Combat Radio. It's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares. And it is the will Joseph Parker versus Lucas Browne happen in New Zealand in August, as they hope? I don't know. What say you? It's the Raphael Dawkins, it's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares. And it's the looking out for the live show. Boxing Talk with Rafi, 9 p.m. UK time, Monday, Wednesdays, and on Fridays, we do Boxing Talk and Classic Fight Review. Don't be no fool. Stay in school and be sure to tune in. Keep it locked on Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. Lots of things on the schedule. We got Rick Glazer coming back, being generous enough to come back on Wednesday. On Monday, we got the Boxing Talk with Rafi. And on the Friday, it's a Boxing Talk and the Classic Fight Review. So, okay, comment on the video, have your say. It's Raphael Dawkins, and I'm out.
What's up, sir?
How do you do, Troy? What's going on? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself, man? I am good. Ready to go.
I got no complaints.
Yeah, I heard you.
Ready to go. So I'm joined, as you can see, I am joined by Troy Graham. Very good of you. Very good of you. Take time out of your day.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So,
yeah, I heard you talking about
excellente. So first things first. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, I heard you speaking on Browne and Parker, right? To be honest with you,
Browne and Parker.
Yeah, never really gave that any thought, man. I mean, because at this point, I would rather see Parker take on a Chris Martin or Helenius, who just came off his big win over Jonowski's his name, right? Yeah, he came off a big win, but I understand with the travel restrictions and all that. Yeah, him. I understand with the travel restrictions. I'm guessing Browne is in that region already, right? Is he out there?
Brown's Australian. Browne is Australian. Parker is a New Zealander. So they're next door neighbors, aren't they?
I'm gonna guess that there's no travel ban between those two countries, right? No.
Well, interestingly, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, hold on. Are you watching? Are you watching this through StreamYards or
No,
through YouTube?
Man. I'm on YouTube, but I'm on my headphones. Why, you can't hear me?
Yeah, but YouTube doesn't play at the same. YouTube is delayed, so your answers are coming like it's out of sync.
Probably because of the headphones. Let me see if I take off the headphones. What'll happen? All right.
No.
How about now?
No. It's a question of which way you.
Huh?
It's a question of where you're watching. So it's a question of where you're watching. So you need to be watching it in StreamYards because YouTube, there's a delay. There's a 15-second delay on YouTube. So you need to be watching this via StreamYards.
Yeah, because right now, I jumped onto the link that you put in the. Yeah, right. I'm on the link you put in the chat.
That's
yeah.
Right. So right. So that should be StreamYard. That's StreamYard.
Okay.
1. I'm going to count to 5, and then you count, and then you say 6, 7, 8 after I get to 5 to make sure we synced up. Because I don't know if we synced up. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, 7. Can you hear me?
You heard that fine in real time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So, what's his name? Browne. Lucas Browne comes from Australia. And Parker is a New Zealander. So the next door neighbors. Travel restrictions between New Zealand and Australia. I would imagine there's some travel restrictions, but it's not at the highest. Let me scroll down, see if we got a New Zealander in the house. It's not at the highest level. They've gone down from the highest level. So I would imagine, if David Higgins, the manager of Parker is saying that he expects, they're working on the fight, then I would imagine there's no problem there. But bear in mind that they're talking about August. That the fight is going to happen in New Zealand if everything goes through, but they're talking about August. Where are we now? May, June, July, August. So we're talking 3 months away. 3 months away. Okay, so let me go into the chat and acknowledge the chat. Let me acknowledge the chat. Let me see who we have in here that I have not yet acknowledged. Okay, so yeah, Ray's 10 grand a ticket. Well, there's 100 people as well. That's another thing to bear in mind. Only 100 people with the COVID restrictions in place. Only 100 people allowed to attend. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to chop that up furthermore in a second after I've got through these people in the chat. Okay, so Ray's in the building. What's going on here? Ross Clark in the building. Let me just make sure that's correct. Yeah. Okay, so who else? PC Jacob in the building. What's going on here? Ray says, I think the area needs to reflect on the gravity that boxing. Yeah. Watch your background noise, Troy. Watch your background. I think I hear paper going along the table. It's very, very sensitive. We're trying keep it recording studio quality when it comes to the sound. And introducing, in fact, I'll introduce him in a second. Let me just get through these chats, these comments. Where are we? Okay, so the topic is, let me put the topic up. How rude of me. How rude of me. Where is it? Let me say it. Okay, boom. Joseph Parker versus Lucas Browne in August, New Zealand, says Higgins, hopefully. And let me just address some of these messages. I think the area needs to reflect the gravity that is boxing. I think the zone should host an event on Mount Olympus. A real clash of the titans. Have Joshua fight Fury there. Say no more. Say no more. Well, it's interesting you should say that, because who is it? Croatia have come in and made an offer to host the Joshua versus who's he fighting? Pulev. And it's an amphitheater built by the Romans. So it's not so far-fetched, But anyway, before I bring in the fight doctor, let me just get through these last comments. Yeah, the zone. I get you. BH up in the building. Who else? Troy, I agree about the travel situation. Makes more logistical sense, says BH. What's going on here? In America, most fight promoters right now are resorting to going to native reservation lands. It's crazy. Yeah, the UFC tried to do that. They wouldn't let them. The UFC tried to go to a native reservation. Who else we got? We got Samuel Jean up in the building. Yes. I saw some craziness over the other day. Samuel, I saw some craziness over at Hell Hefe's place. That was mad things. Mad drama. I'm not the biggest Ruiz fan. Michael J. White up in the building. Where's your avatar? Michael? Okay. Yes, some heavy history over there in Mount Olympus. I'm cool with it. Okay, so we're bringing in the fight doctor. Fight doctor, how do you do?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Yeah, pretty good. It's been a good day for me. The sun's been shining over here in my part of the UK. So I got my daily bike riding with the sun shining. Had a little bit of rain, but that's fine. I'm cool with that. What part of America are you in, fight doctor?
So I'm in the Windy City, Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carry on.
No, we got a little bit of rain earlier, and rain for most of the weekend. But 60-degree weather, so it's not too bad. It could be a little warmer.
Okay. Is it as violent as they say it is over there in Chi-Town? Chirac. Is it still Chirac? I don't know.
It was never Chirac. Now Chicago gets a bad rap because so Chicago is a city of 3.5 million people, roughly. And there are one or two areas in Chicago that have this violent reputation. But outside of those one or two areas, Chicago is really not, it's not as violent as it's made out to be. In fact, if you look up a list of the 10 most violent cities in America, Chicago is not on that list.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not that bad. It's nowhere near as bad as it's made out to be.
It's not Chirac. No,
far from. It's not like, Beirut's sister city. It's not.
Right. Right. So it's basically a few rough areas where you got some boys in the hood and they like to let those things bang. Is that what's going down?
So Chicago is as violent as any other major city in the United States.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not, it gets this bad rap. But yeah, it's nowhere near as bad as its reputation would suggest.
I can relate to that. So going back over to Troy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. That's all good. That's all good. Okay, I think we're fully synced now. So I think just to go over this because people are coming in all the time. Okay, so let me get pictorial with it. Where's the background? There is the background. Scroll down. There it is. Boom. Okay, so where are we? That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Okay, let me just adjust this thing here. Okay, so it's Parker. We're talking about Parker versus Lucas Browne, scheduled for. Well, they're trying to schedule it for August. Obviously, Parker's fighting under the Matchroom banner, and his manager, David Higgins, is over there in New Zealand. He's been given the go ahead by. Eddie Hearn. Been given the go ahead by Eddie Hearn to go ahead and start looking for some venues. Due to the COVID restrictions, only going to be like 100 people, around 100 people in the venue. But the zone, they're rolling out in Europe, rolling out in the Oceania, the Australias, including, all of those islands, surrounding islands in Oceania, New Zealand, etc., Tonga, Samoa, wherever, all over. So they really need some fight cards. They really need some fight cards to get underway. Most difficult in the COVID era. So Parker versus Browne. You want to chop that up a little bit, Troy?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I saw somebody in the chat room. You put him up here. You said the tickets are $10,000 each. Was that a typo or was that a?
He's joking. He's joking.
Yeah. That was funny. Well, hopefully everything will clear and this will start off and this will get the ball rolling on fights. Because like I said, I'm a common sense guy. So to me, this shouldn't stop boxing. I mean, there's so many different things you could do. Like you could do it live in an empty arena and have the people watch. Heck, you could go on Patreon and do a Patreon boxing show. Just charge X amount of money. You go in, you pay, and then he comes up and you watch it. I don't see how this is so difficult because it all leads back to greed and pride. Everybody wants a bigger slice of the pie than there is, and no one is willing to say, "I'll be humble and I'll take this cut for the sport and for the fans." No, everybody's being greedy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, over to the fight doctor. You got any you got some observations on this?
I was gonna say, man, fight doctor. I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge you, man. I actually agree with what you were saying about Chicago and because I'm in Baltimore, man. So I actually agree with you, man. It's not as bad as what people think it is. So we actually agree on something, at least for the next 5 minutes.
For the next 5 minutes, yeah, but I'm sure we'll find something to disagree about. But thank you for the acknowledgement. And so I mean, I don't know. How do you put on the big boxing shows without replacing the funds lost due to not having a live gate? I mean, how does that work? I mean, I can see some of these smaller boxing shows, happening. I can see like local, cards or local talent and all that kind of stuff. But, like what do the Canelos of the world, what do they do? What do the Anthony Joshuas and those guys, what do they do without having, the big arenas and the site fees? You know, I mean, how does that work? You know.
Well, I have a question for both of you, for Raphael and for you, Fight Doctor. What actually makes a fight big? Is it the fighters themselves, or you know, is it the fans' desire to see that fight? What actually makes a fight big? And also, as a salespeople, I don't care what your product is. You have to change with the times. If somebody throws a pebble into the water and it causes a ripple, you're a salesperson. You have to find your way. You still have to find your way. So I don't see what the holdup is, other than greed and money. Why can't these big brains in boxing actually do the math and the science and get something together already? Why?
Well, I mean, in a perfect world, you would think it could be just that simple, where reasonable people could sit down and hash out a plan to make these things happen. But, you know, in my 30 plus years of having been a boxing fan, the last thing I would ever call the business of boxing is reasonable. You know, it's anything but that. It's a circus, it's a show, it's a joke at times, but reasonable. The business of boxing, I'd never classify it as being that. You know, so I think the problem is that, unfortunately, you know, what is it? Cash rules everything around me, and that seems to be the mantra of everybody involved in the business. You know, so you know everyone is looking to maximize their earnings. You know, and never mind the next man, or never mind the sport, or look, boxing has a habit of shooting itself in the foot. Okay, there are huge fights that never got made, that should have got made. You know, fights that would have made tons of money. You know, as an example, Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe.
Yeah.
You know, that's a huge fight. You know, and going back to your question about what makes a fight huge, I think it's a combination of things, right? I think it's a combination of luck, good timing, having the right athletes at the peak of their ability, and having at least one athlete who has the right kind of charisma to actually sell the fight. So I think it's a combination of things that make a fight big, you know. But I think all those things, I think you can. All those things are a function of the fans' appetite for a big fight. You know, I think sometimes you have to sort of like maybe tease it a little bit, not necessarily give it right, not necessarily make the big fight right when it becomes big, but you have to drum it up a little bit, you know. Yeah, I mean, there are just tons of examples of big fights in boxing that didn't get made, or didn't get made at the right time. Mayweather Pacquiao. Okay, that fight should have happened in 2009, 2010, when those two guys were at their absolute best, and when that fight was at its absolute best. Okay, That's when we should have got that fight. That was a huge fight. Even 5 years after its sell-by date, it was still huge. But boxing just has this propensity to shoot itself. I don't even want to say shoot itself in the foot. Shoot itself in the head and just kill it. Just die. Just dead. So, you know, I think with this whole coronavirus situation, I think we're looking at another perfect opportunity for boxing to shoot itself in the head once again.
Yeah. You see, hold on. Let me get rid of that. I'm just experimenting with a few things here. What's going on? I want to trying something here. Always experimenting. I'm not getting what I want. Not really getting the design. I have to experiment some more with that. Not really getting the design that I want, but I have to show the banner. I have to show the banner, make sure people can see what's going on, what we're talking about, as I get back into this. So you see, the question here is, I don't really I don't really know, Troy, how we got onto making fights or making the thing happen. Yeah, I think I know now because you're talking about within the context of the coronavirus. Okay. How do I address that? How do I get into that? How do I make head roads into that? Okay. So what's happening here, as far as I can see, is we're getting a fight. And we know. I'm just trying to stay on the straight and narrow here. I'm trying to stay on the straight and narrow. Okay, so we're getting a fight. We know that fights are awkward to be made at the moment. I understand your point, Troy. You're saying that I think effectively what you were saying was that boxers have to realize that without crowds, they're going to be fighting. Without crowds, the money's not going to be the same. Okay, I accept that. But Joseph Parker is accepting the fight. It appears he's taking the fight. His management people are dealing with it, trying to hook it up. So really, I think the real question here is the caliber of opponent. Caliber of opponent is, I think I made a video earlier on. If you haven't seen the video, feel free to check it out after the show. But I think the question that people raise is, well, hold on, this caliber of opponent is fighting Joseph Browne. People are taking issue with David Higgins saying that what's his called, Lucas Browne is the best that they can get, and he's taking a little bit of flack in the video for that. But realistically speaking, I mean, in the COVID era where travel restrictions exist, then I think that really it's the best you can do down there. It's the best you can do down there is fighting a guy from Australia, and he's probably, is he the best heavyweight in Australia? He's probably fighting the best heavyweight in Australia. Is he the number 2? Is Lucas Browne the number 2 guys in the Oceania region? He might be number 2. So Parker's fighting the number 2 guy in an area that doesn't appear to be travel restrictions. Doesn't seem as if they're going to impinge on making the fight. So I think that, arguably they're doing the most they can do under the COVID situation. They're doing the most they can do. But going deeper into that, going beyond that, we have to ask us, I think the real question is, what is going on with Joseph Parker? What's going on with Joseph Parker? Let me just, where's that thing gone? Damn it. Okay, so he fought Leopai. And then he fought, who's the last guy? He fought Shondell Winters. I haven't got it up in front of me. I haven't got his full fight record up in front of me right now. I think I must have accidentally closed something. But yeah, the question is that's being asked of me. The question is why doesn't Dillian Whyte give Joseph Parker a rematch?
I can answer that.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
It doesn't help his career right now. He fought Parker and he won. It doesn't elevate him to fight Parker again. There's no benefit in fighting Parker again. What's the benefit of fighting Parker?
No benefit. There's no benefit. There is no benefit. That's my answer. There is no benefit. But I got some New Zealander friends, and they are steadfast in the belief. What time is it? I was expecting at least one of my New Zealander friends to be here. Not yet, apparently. There is appears to be a steadfast belief down in New Zealand that Dillian Whyte is wrong, is doing Joseph Parker an injustice by not rematching him. And I'm sorry, Troy, but I don't see it. I'll come to you, Fight Doctor, in a second. But Troy, I don't see the injustice there.
I didn't hear that, Ralph.
Okay. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
No. That was on my end because my signal
One.
is kind of choppy. But go ahead and say it again.
Okay, so I'm staying with you for a while before I go over to the fight doctor. And my point is, I don't understand. Well, I don't share the view. I don't share the views of my New Zealand friends who say that Dillian White is effectively doing Joseph Parker an injustice by not giving him a rematch. I think you just hit the nail on the head, but I'll just let you elaborate if you so desire. Okay, fight doctor.
Okay.
You want to come in? You want to come in?
So here's the deal, right? Now, this is my opinion. This is how I see things.
Yeah.
Boxing is a business first, right?
Mm.
And if you are Dillian White, your promoter has been making a ton of noise about, well, you've been the WBC mandatory for, it's like what, 2.5 years? I mean, it's just some insane amount of time he's been the WBC mandatory, right?
Yeah, long time. Well, hold on. Let's just say number one, because then there's no debating. If you say mandatory, then people are going to say, oh, but he wasn't officially mandatory at that date. He was official. So let's just say WBC number one for going for over 2 years.
Okay, so he's the number one contender in the WBC.
Yeah.
And he has been, if I'm not mistaken, the WBC has mandated that the champion makes a mandatory defense by February of 2021. Am I correct?
Yeah. February 2021. Yeah.
So if you're Dillian White's management, then essentially you're sitting on a title shot against Fury, Joshua, or Wilder, whoever is holding the title come February.
Yeah.
So that's a big money fight. Yeah, if I'm managing Dillian White, then yeah, I'm not matching him tough until he gets his title shot.
Yeah.
I mean, no. I mean, why would you? I mean, it's just not good business.
It's not good business. It's not. It's not good business. It's not good business at all.
Now, on the flip side, us looking at it from the fans' point of view, it sucks because now we just see another top-rated heavyweight knock over another tomato can, wasting all of our time when we could, spend that time doing something productive, like, I don't know, watch paint dry, But, such is the business of boxing. And this is just the way that things happen, like I say, boxing is a business first, and it's unfortunate that boxing can't seem to find a way to mimic some of the other sports, in such that in the NBA and the NFL and the UFC, you're guaranteed that the best is going to fight the best, or the best is going to compete against the best in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
In the NBA, that at the end of the playoffs, all of the weak sauce will be sorted out, right? All of the lesser teams will be sorted out, and the best team in the East and the best team in the West will meet and decide who is the best. Yeah. This is just without doubt. This happens every year, like clockwork. Mm-hmm. Same thing happens in the NFL. In the NFL, you have 4, 5 divisions, however many it is, and all the divisions sorted out. They sort out their business, and then each conference has different divisions, and then the best of each conference, they meet in January, February, and they decide who is the best team in all of football. Happens every year, without, like clockwork. You can set your watch for how the frequency, right? Mm-hmm. But in boxing, you can go years, right? You can go years and in a division, and it'll be a question mark as to who's actually the best fighter.
Yeah.
And look, if we were to go down the list of divisions right now, every other division is probably going to have a question mark. Like, who's actually the best fighter in the division.
Mhm.
Or you might know who the best fighter in the division is, but who's actually like the real champion in the division. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I think that hurts the sport, and it's unfortunate that these other sports have a mechanism in place to sort all the foolishness out, but boxing doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very valid point. Very good point. And let me go to the chat. I was hoping we'd have some New Zealand friends in here to give their take on it, but I know what their position is, but so I guess I'm representing their position and I'm expressing their position. I'm representing my position, but let's just go into the chat. We're coming to the close of this topic, and then we're going to be moving into another one, but not quite yet. We got a few more little wrinkles. I got a few more little wrinkles I want to get into on this particular topic because it seems to go around, but hopefully we kill it here. Hopefully I aim to kill that argument right here, right now. So let's be clear. Joseph Parker versus Lucas Browne in August. As a matter of fact, let's change the damn title of that. Let's move along to a new title. Let me create it right now as we speak. And the new title is Should. Oh, hold on. No. Let's get crafty with this. Why do some people feel Why do some people feel that his name Joseph Parker is somehow entitled to and I've got a very strong argument. To kill this off. Rematch with Dillian White.
I can answer that too.
No troll come back when his sound is up. Rematch.
I'm good now.
Rematch. Okay. Well, speak up, Troy. Speak up whenever you're good. Hold on. Let me. Right. So. Okay. So the new title is why we've morphed. We moved on. Why do some? Oh. You see what's wrong there? There's no question mark. Correct that. Real time. Boom. And show. Okay, so why do some people feel that Joseph Parker is somehow entitled to a rematch with Dillian White? And I want to come in there myself. I think I've got the silver bullet for this one. Which kills the argument. We're about to find out. Okay, so it's Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. We're joined by Troy Graham and the Fight Doctor. We are live to you wherever you are. We're worldwide. But okay, so here's the thing. Here's my stance. Now I'll go to Troy and then back over to the Fight Doctor. Okay, here's the thing. Matter of fact, let's go. Let's not ignore the chat. The PayPal button is in the description box. The super chat button is right where you type. And the like button, I'm sure everybody knows where that is. Smash the like if you're enjoying the show. Hit the subscribe if you have not already done so. Super chat button is there, and the PayPal button is there for you to use as you see fit. Okay, going into the chat. What's going on here? Okay, so far, Junior Far, the other big heavyweight over there, down there in New Zealand. They're 2-2 in the amateurs, haven't fought as professionals. So, but Far, they say Far priced himself out. It is said that, what's going on here? Let's save the battery power on that. Boom. Okay, it is said that Far wanted 33%. And Team Parker, his peers said, no, you're not worth it. That's too much. So that's where they're not fighting. Deontay Wilder, the TBE bomb killer. OMG. Yeah, it's 2-2. It's 2-2 with Farr. Okay, so it's talking about Parker needing to step up. Totally agree. I've been saying it for a while. I think he should have gone over to the US of A. When his contract expired with the previous outfit, I think he should have gone over to the US of A and tried it with Top Rank or whoever. Give him a two-year deal, a 1-year deal, whatever. But obviously they felt more comfortable. They felt that the Zone were the best outfit. And got shut down by the governor. Let's kill that. Let's kill this. What was that? Not good. Accidentally shut it down. Parker versus Lucas. Lucas Bum not interested. Damn. Their first outfit, their first encounter was 2008. You know, it was the amateurs, yeah. I haven't seen Junior Farr, but I heard he has good, decent, half decent. Let's scroll right down to the very bottom. What we got here? Chicago Davis, but it's hard to judge because of the pandemic. AK Junior. AK Junior in the building. Joseph Parker going for his third tune-up. Damn. I'm very good, Jackal. Good to have you in here. Where are we now? Would be more lively than Lucas. What? Junior Farr would be more lively than Lucas if it's due to the current conditions and sticks to New Zealand. He'd be more likely. More lively, you say. What's going on? The Boxing Jedi, how do you do? Good to see you. After Povetkin, I want White to fight Ruiz, Old Tees, and Parker. That's a good suggestion. Good suggestions right there. Okay, so here's my thing. Here's my silver bullet. Tell me if you think it is a silver bullet. Here's my silver bullet. Okay, right. So some people believe or acting as if Dillian Whyte somehow owes Joseph Parker something, like he's got something that Parker should have. Well, I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I disagree. Dillian Whyte don't owe Joseph Parker diddly. He don't owe him squat. And on what basis do I say that? Well, I'll tell you what the basis is. I'll tell you what the basis is. You ask me what's the basis, I'll tell you what the basis. The basis is this. Joseph Parker fought Andy Ruiz in his homeland, in New Zealand. And that was a very, 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 anybody who's seen that fight will say that was a very close fight. Joseph Parker v. Ruiz was a very close fight. Okay, that's step one. Step two, Joseph Parker fought, what's his name? Carlos Takam in his backyard in New Zealand. And I watched that fight. It was a very, very close fight, which was very, very close fight. Now, my question to all ensembled here, presently here, and worldwide. When the hell, how hard has Team Parker worked to give, how hard did they work to give Ruiz a rematch? Did Joseph Parker owe Andy Ruiz a rematch? What happened to that rematch? Step one. Step two. What happened to Carlos Takam's rematch? Carlos Takam had a close fight with Joseph Parker. Yeah? Had a close fight with Joseph Parker. Where are the voices? Where is the clamor for Joseph Parker to give Carlos Takam a rematch? There is none. There is no clamor. And when Andy Ruiz, when it was decided, if that fight had happened in America, nobody would complain if Andy Ruiz won. It was a close fight. He was that close. He was razor close. He was wafer up close. But where is the clamor? Where is the clamor for a rematch for Joseph Parker. For Joseph Parker to rematch Andy Ruiz for years after they fought. There was no clamor. Andy Ruiz said he wanted a rematch. That fell on deaf ears. Nobody cared. Joseph Parker didn't care. David Higgins didn't care. Nobody cared. Yeah, it was a close fight. Yeah, if he was in America, you probably would have won. But it's a fight. It happened, and everybody moved on. Everybody moved on. Andy Ruiz went and became a champion, became a unified champion. There was no quibbling. There was no, listen, I lost, I'd like a rematch. I think I deserve a rematch. Nobody was agreeing. Nobody was on the Joseph Parker side was agreeing to a rematch. Nobody agreed to the rematch. Ruiz fought him. He lost. Boom. That's it. Like a puff of smoke, it's gone. Move on. Move on with your life. Move on with your career. Takam fought him, wafer thin, lost. Nobody's clamoring for a rematch. That's life. You lost, you fought, you lost, it was close. Move on. Why is it that Joseph Parker or supporters of Joseph Parker believe he's entitled to a damn rematch? I don't think so. I know not. I've given you 2 examples of when Joseph Parker was in close fights and nobody's begging for a rematch for them. So listen, here's the solution. I was asked my opinion. Okay, now here's my silver bullet. When Joseph Parker, I was asked my opinion, this is my opinion. When Joseph Parker rematched Andy Ruiz. I don't know. Where was it? I don't know. I haven't seen it anywhere. I've checked the records. I haven't seen it. When did Joseph Parker rematch Carlos Takam? I don't know. I've checked the records. I've looked. I haven't seen it. So here's my response. Here is my response to my friends from New Zealand who asked me the question. Why doesn't Dillian Whyte go and rematch Joseph Parker? Well, here's my response, my friends. You've asked me the question, and I'm more than happy to furnish you with my response. And here is my response. When Joseph Parker rematches Andy Ruiz or Carlos Takam, come back to me. Come back to me then. Come back to me when Joseph Parker gives the guys that he had close fights with, when he gives them a rematch, then I will advocate that Dillian Whyte gives him a rematch. But let's get even realer than that, because it don't make no sense. He's following your guy, the Joseph Parker philosophy. He's following the Joseph Parker philosophy, which is when he had close fights, he didn't give rematches. So there you go. Dillian Whyte is following Joseph Parker's example in not giving Joseph Parker a rematch to their close fight. Forget about the fact that it's bad business, which is the obvious answer. Forget about the fact. Forget about the obvious and the logical point that there is nothing to be gained. What does Dillian Whyte gain by fighting Joseph Parker again? What does he gain? He don't gain nothing. He don't gain nothing. All it is he's fighting a guy who's been fighting a lot of low-tier guys. Dillian Whyte fights Joseph Parker. He's fighting a lot of guys he's fighting a guy who's fighting low-tier guys recently. Last, what is it, 2 fights or 3 fights? I can't remember who he fought before Leopai. He fought Leopai, and then he fought Shondell Winters. I can't remember the guy he fought before that. No doubt, I would imagine it's yeah. So my answer in the simplest terms is ask for a rematch for Joseph Parker against Dillian Whyte once Joseph Parker has done likewise and given rematches to the guy who fought him to close fights, namely Carlos Takam, primarily Andy Ruiz Jr. Feels so cathartic. It feels so cathartic. Troy Graham.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, speak on it.
Okay, let me give you my thoughts. White is not going to fight him because, like I said in the first time I answered this, there's no benefit. But the problem with Parker is, yes, he hasn't lost a fight since he's dropped the fight to White, but he's also been painting himself lowered at a. He actually dropped down to a lower tier based on the competition he's been fighting. He didn't keep up the level of competition he was fighting, which takes away interest from him. If he would have kept up with the Tackums, and Andy wasn't really well known until after the Parker fight, and after the Joshua fight. So, but he's been fighting lower level fighters, so you painted yourself out of that same level as White because you're not on the same level. Now before the virus, if he would have, let's say, if he would have said, okay, I'm going to fight Martin, and then the other guy just mentioned Helenius, right? Or who else is out there for him to fight?
Yeah, Helenius. Yeah.
At this point, yeah, I'm trying to think of someone else out there for him to fight at this point.
Martin.
Even if he would say, okay, well, since Wilder lost, yeah, fight him too. Fight him too. Somebody that they can say, okay, he's taking on these guys with big punches. Even Rivas, even though Rivas ain't been doing nothing, but he still gets some cachet based on the whole thing with White and the whole thing with Jennings. So he could live off that for another minute, right? So that's why he's fighting these second tier fighters, which puts him in the second tier. And how does that help a man who's on a championship journey, which is White? It doesn't get him any closer to the championship. It's just another notch on his belt. It's just another win. And then if White loses, you're gonna be like, oh wow, okay, that's gonna drop him even further. Understand me? Because I'm not fighting him if I'm White. I'm not gonna fight him. I mean, what's the point? I'm not going to New Zealand, and I don't need you to come to me.
Why would you?
Wait a second. Did he ever fight Chisora? That fight never happened, right? That fight never happened with Parker and Chisora, right?
Never fought Chisora.
That's because he got bit by a spider.
No.
Right. So there you go. That's someone else you can fight.
Got bit by a spider.
But then, yeah, and that's someone else. But he's if the fight doesn't go through with what's the boy name? What's the European name? That's supposed to be fighting Chisora. USKY. Usyk, yeah, Usyk. If that fight doesn't go through, If that fight doesn't go through, he could throw his hat. He could throw his name into that pile and say, okay, well, we were supposed to fight, but I got bit by a spider. So, let's do it. Right? That's another fight for him.
Yeah.
But as far as White goes, you asking a three-legged, a dog with three legs to catch a gazelle. It's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. So stop it. Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. But recap your point. Why it's not gonna happen?
Because he painted himself down into a lower tier based on the competition, and he also took away interest from himself by not fighting tougher competition. And then he's saying that he's saying that he's relevant. Go ahead, Ralph. And also why would
Dillian White fight him when he's beneath him in the rankings? When Parker didn't do the very same thing that he's asking White to do.
Let me say this about White: there's only two heavyweights
to me.
Yeah, and at the moment, there's only two heavyweights that are above White. That's Joshua and Fury. That's it. Joshua and Fury are the only two heavyweights that are above White. Wilder lost, so he's no longer above White.
Oh,
he isn't.
Wilder lost, no longer above White. Usyk. Some people argue Usyk is above him, and technically, you could say he is. But in reality, he's fought one. He's fought one fight at heavyweight since he's come back to heavyweight. He's fought at heavyweight before, but since he's come back, he's fought one fight, and that was Usyk. So they got, hold on, no, that Usyk has fought one fight since he's come back to heavyweight. So they've got him above White, but realistically, he hasn't put that work in heavyweight. So that's all up in the air. Whatever, that's a matter of opinion. But what is not a matter of opinion is the fact that Joseph Parker has not done the things that people are asking White to do. He's not done the thing that people are asking White to do, which was to win by a close win, to get a close win and go back and rematch the guy who's behind you in the rankings. To me, that don't make no damn sense. And moreover, Parker didn't do it. So they're asking White to do something that Parker didn't do. Don't make no sense to me whatsoever. And I was just going to head over to the Fight Doctor, but he has dropped off. Oh, damn. Right. He's back. Yes. Yeah. The Fight Doctor. I'm heading over to you now, Fight Doctor.
Sorry about that, gentlemen. I'm still on the clock, and I had a call come through. So my apologies.
No problem at all. No problem at all. So to wrap up this is the second part. And to be clear, let me be clear about what the question is. Why do some people feel that Joseph Parker is somehow entitled to a rematch with Dillian White? And we're just wrapping it up now. So speak on that, please.
So I guess I can answer that question best by asking a few other questions.
Okay. Like,
for instance, what if Floyd Mayweather never gave Jose Luis Castillo a rematch? What if? What if Joe Louis never rematched, what's his name?
Schmeling.
No, the light heavyweight who outboxed him but got knocked out. Or he won.
Billy Khan. Billy Khan.
Yeah, what if Joe Louis never rematched
Billy Khan?
Oh, right. Okay. What if these rematches had never happened? There will be questions. There will be lingering questions.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have diminished how great Joe Louis and how great Floyd are, after the fact. But had those rematches not happened, there would have always been the asterisk. Oh, well, he was a great fighter.
Let me butt in because it's a good point. Who was the favorite in those two fights you mentioned? Floyd and what's his name? Joe Louis.
Billy Khan.
Billy Khan was the favorite.
No. Louis was the favorite. I'm sure Louis was the favorite, and I'm sure that Floyd was the favorite going into the Castillo fight. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm reasonably sure.
Okay, so the difference there is that Dillian White or Parker was the favorite, so Dillian White beat the favorite. So I think there's a difference there. Perhaps, arguably.
Okay, granted, but let's just say that, for argument's sake, let's just say that Dillian White goes on to beat Fury or Joshua or Wilder to pick up the WBC belt, right? And let's say he goes on and beats another, top 5 heavyweight. Yeah. And, would distinguish himself amongst, the upper tier of heavyweights. Well, if he were to ever elevate himself to that point, then there will always be the question mark. So to answer your question from earlier, what does he get from rematching Joseph Parker? He gets an opportunity to get his respect. That's what he gets.
He gets an opportunity to get his respect. So the question is, we're gonna have to. I thought we ended, but you've raised a good point. I think when you beat a guy, we're talking about White. I think when you beat a guy, when you're who's favored above you, the guy's an ex-world champ. I don't know. I think if you beat that guy, I think you've got your respect. I think you've got respect. I hear what you're saying, Fight Doctor, bro, and I'm not saying it's not a valid point, but I think you have to look at the cost of that. Dillian White fought Parker when he didn't have to. I think they were offering him who? I think the WBC were ordering him to fight something like a lesser guy. I think it was Breezel. And he tried to make the fight, couldn't make it, and then he opted for a better fight, a more respected fight. He opted to fight a higher caliber fighter than the guy they were presenting him with. And that guy goes by the name of Joseph Parker. He beat that guy. And I really don't see an argument for him to potentially jeopardize his number one ranking by going back and fighting a guy who's already beat. That's not the name of the game when you're a number one ranked contender and you're waiting for a championship fight for 2 years. That's not the name of the game. Okay, so he's fighting Povetkin. So you say, well, hold on. Povetkin is might be as tough a challenge as Parker. It could be a tougher challenge. I don't know. We haven't seen the fight yet. We don't know until it happens, until it goes down. Could be a tougher fight than Povetkin. Povetkin could start you potentially. So it's not as if he's lacking or he's lax. He's not lacking. He's taking top fighter after top fighter. WAC was just a fill-in fight because he was coming off problems with UCAD. But other than that, he's been fighting top fighter after top fighter. And you're saying he's at the door of the championship and now he should turn around and go and fight somebody he's already beat? When Parker didn't do the same thing his damn self? Nah, don't make no sense to me. I hear the respect argument, but I say he got his respect when he took on a tougher opponent than the one WBC was saying he should take on. Yeah, that's my response. Good question. That's my response. Troy, you want to respond to that?
Yes, I just want to make something clear. When this is for the fight doctor, who do you say has to get the respect, White or Parker?
Well, I mean, right now it really doesn't matter because neither one of those guys have accomplished much, and
Okay, answer the question. Okay.
But in terms of my hypothetical, all right, so right now Dillian White is sitting on a mandatory, so he doesn't have to do anything. He's guaranteed a shot at basically the best heavyweight in the world. Provided that the title doesn't become vacated. So if he were to go on and to beat Fury, Joshua, Wilder, then at that point, he has basically made himself the best heavyweight in the world. Now at that point, having had this close fight with Joseph Parker, and there's going to be a question like, okay, well, this guy fought you tough. Now you call yourself the heavyweight champion, the best heavyweight in the world. Well, I think you owe this guy a rematch because, well, he fought you tough, and maybe some people thought you didn't win the fight. So at that point, I think if he wants to get his respect, then he would have to go see Joseph Parker a second time. In my opinion. Now, do I necessarily think that, given my scenario, that happens? Probably not. But again, going back in history and looking at great fighters and what they've done, given a similar circumstance, they went back and they made sure that, okay, this guy fought me tough. Some people thought he beat me. Okay, well, let me go and let's clear the air. All right, let's not leave a question about who the better fighter is. So.
Did Joseph Parker go back to clear the air with Andy Ruiz?
Well, no, but again,
Joseph Parker didn't need to do it. Why does Dillian White need to do what Joseph Parker didn't do?
Well, I mean,
let me step in here.
Well, go ahead, Troy.
Yeah. Let me step in.
Go ahead, Troy.
I'm confused that you're thinking about why White would need to gain Parker's respect. White is the one who beat Parker. It wasn't a controversial win or anything. He dropped Parker. He outboxed him the first half of the fight, and he got tired. In the 12th round, he got dropped. The 12th round is not going to win your fight unless you knock somebody out. And he was in no danger of getting knocked out. So how was it? Because it seems like you're saying that it was a controversial win. There was no controversy there at all. So I don't know how.
Well, listen, I'm agreeing with you. Okay, I'm just saying for argument's sake, that, if there were people out there who thought, if the collective thought that Parker deserved the win, or that it was a very close fight, or it was a competitive fight, or maybe perhaps, the guys are considered, evenly matched in some way, but, it all depends on how you want to look at it. Okay.
Well, I know a guy from the region. Who might have some answers for us. Welcome in. None other than Big Boys Boxing. How do you do, Big Boys Boxing? Damn. Big Boy Boxing is in silent mode. Big Boys Boxing is in silent mode. Let me write something in the chat so he knows that we can't hear him.
Okay, let me.
Yeah. Can you hear you now?
Plugged it in the wrong hole again.
You've done it in the wrong. You put the mic in the wrong hole again, haven't you, big boys?
Sorry, kids. Hope you all are well, man.
Yeah, man. Good, my friend. Good. The sun was shining in the UK again, as it has been for pretty much the entire COVID era. And we had a little bit of rain to damp things down. So it's good conditions. I got my bike ride in, no problem. So, yeah, can't complain over here. Hope you're well over there.
Yeah, not too bad. Bit of food poisoning, but that's nothing major.
You'll get over that. If you don't kill it, you'll be fine. Yeah. Okay, Big Boys Boxing, you're from the region. You're a New Zealander. You're just the man I wanted to talk to. And the question is, why should Dillian Whyte jeopardize his WBC #1 ranking position and fight Parker again when Parker didn't rematch? What's his name? Andy Ruiz, under very, very similar conditions. Why should Dillian Whyte do what Joseph Parker didn't do?
Well, from Dillian Whyte's point of view, he shouldn't fight Parker. Hell to the no.
I'm glad we agree on that.
But from a fan's perspective, it was a great fight. I want to see it again. Don't know who would win. So, those are the types of fights I like to see, where both guys get up off the canvas. Yeah. Shit, that's good. That's good viewing. But yeah, like I've said on my channel as well, I don't think that fight's going to happen until Dillian Whyte loses. When both guys have nothing to lose, that's when that fight will happen, or when one of them is ordered to fight the other for any particular reason. Mm-hmm. So it's a good money fight for both guys. It's exciting, but it's kind of role reversal from where Joseph Parker was world champion and Dillian wanted to fight him.
Yeah,
Joe might have wanted to fight him, but he had the opportunity to fight for a unified title, so it made more sense for Joe to go and fight Anthony Joshua, didn't it, at the time?
Yeah, that makes more sense, absolutely. And to touch on so we're narrowing it down, which is good. So we're narrowing it down, and so the argument for the fight is that it would be good for the fans, but it don't make sense for Dillian Whyte. Is that a fair summary of what you're saying?
Spot on.
Okay. Well, I can agree with you on that. I
don't know what fans,
and also,
I don't know what fans are clamoring or asking for this fight to happen that don't live in New Zealand. You know anybody outside of New Zealand that would want to see this fight?
Yeah, I know a few people who said they'd like to see it run back, but it's not something anybody's clamoring for. Hell no.
Yeah, well,
see,
that's
what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that it don't make sense for Dillian Whyte to go back and fight Parker when he's #1, when he's knocking at the door, has been knocking at the door of the WBC championship for 2 years. It didn't make sense. It didn't make much sense for him to fight Parker in the first place. That was a risky fight.
Didn't make sense for either of them at the time. However, I'm sitting there thinking, with this COVID-19, how long is it going to be before Dillian White is going to get his WBC shot? So how many fights is he gonna want to take? And in his current interim champion position, he's only allowed to fight fighters in the top 15 of the WBC.
Mm-hmm.
And it's most likely he's probably only going to fight DAZN fighters. So after Povetkin, who's he got? There's Usyk, who's busy. There's Michael Hunter. There is Filip Hrgovic, and that's about it. So, and Joseph Parker. So after Povetkin, if he wants to fight someone else, who's he going to fight?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, in a fair world, let me tell you how things play out. In a fair world, if everything was fan-based and for the sport, Fury and Joshua would fight, and then on the undercard, or before that fight, it would be Wilder versus White, and that'll settle who actually gets the winner of Fury versus Joshua, right? Because this clears up, huh?
Yeah, that's the one, man. Little tournament.
Yeah, that'll be in a fair world. This is not a fair world because it makes no sense that a man has done what he was set out to do, and then he still gets to wait for 3 years and the fool who was champion to beat because that's karma, baby. And now he's still put in limbo. And now
I thought White put himself in limbo. He had multiple opportunities to fight for mandatory position, and he turned it down.
When?
That's an argument. He could have gone over to Bulgaria to fight Pulev. Hold on, that's not the WBC. What's that? The IBF. That's so forget about that one then. But that's an IBF mandatory. He declined to go over there and fight at a 50-50 split. That kind of, does that make sense? Well, yeah, okay. It's up to the individual whether that makes sense or not. And then who did they say? Who was the first person he declined?
Pulev was first.
No, I mean for the WBC.
Luis Ortiz. Oh no, it was Dominic Brazil.
Dominic Brazil or Luis Ortiz. One or the other. No. I thought it was Luis Ortiz. I thought it was Luis.
Turned down that fight with Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz is the one who turned down contracts from him. When have you ever heard Luis Ortiz sending somebody a contract? He was sent the contract. He didn't like it. Here's the thing: when Ortiz first fought White, he made $500,000. So they offered him $250,000 because White is just a contender. So why would he pay him more to fight than a champion paid him? Right. So he turned down the $250,000, saying that's an insult. You just only made $500,000. Here you're getting paid half of that. That's fair to me to fight a contender. So then to my understanding, he was sent a contract that was worth $1 million, $2 million. He turned that down. Just like in the future, just to prove that he keeps turning down stuff and saying he's a boogeyman, he turned down $7 million, and no one could explain to me how a guy who's supposed to be the boogeyman is turning down fights. But you're the boogeyman, but you're turning down fights?
$7 million.
Come on.
$7 million for who? $7 million for who? He turned down $7 million for who?
Joshua.
Okay,
Ortiz turned down $7 million for Joshua, and he turned down $250,000 for White. All this stuff is easily found.
The WBC ordered White Ortiz for the second mandatory position. Is that correct?
No, they didn't.
Hold on. What's the question?
Okay.
Hold on. Hold on. What's the question, Big Boys Boxing?
Oh, you were asking the question. Who
No, I thought you just asked the question.
Well, who? Yeah, well, I was pretty sure at the time that the WBC ordered White versus Ortiz for the second mandatory position behind Dominic Brazil. They entered negotiations and they failed, but then I don't know which side it was, decided they didn't want the fight full stop. Otherwise, it would have gone to purse split, and purse splits wouldn't have mattered.
No, Wilder said, if you beat Ortiz, then you'll get your shot at me. And then White was like, why do I need to beat Ortiz when I just beat beat everybody I need to beat to fight you? And why do I need to fight the guy that you just knocked out? How does he get in front of me? That was the question that no one could answer. This guy just got beat by the champion. And how does the champion say, you fight the guy that I just beat because now he's in front of you? How do you, no one could answer that question. Nobody.
So, yeah, I think, wasn't that the timeline? Wilder beat Ortiz, and then there was a lot of rigmarole. Dillian White was already number 1 ranked, and then there was a lot of rigmarole, and then Dillian White was demanding his title shot, and then the sequence of events, as I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, the sequence of events was that they then had Dominic Breazeal fight. Who has he fought? Molina? Was it? No. Brazil. Didn't Brazil fight Molina?
Brazil
fought
Brazil fought Molina. And then, sorry?
He fought Negron.
Oh, he fought
a fighter by the name of
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. He fought Molina, and then after that fight, before the fight, people were asking, and Suleiman was specifically asked, "Is this for the is the win in the mandatory?" He says, "No. We have a process over here at the WBC." I don't know if anybody's seen that interview. And the guy asked him specifically twice. He came up with a BS answer, which didn't answer the question. And the interview asked him again. He said, "Is Dominic Breazeal versus Molina for the mandatory position?" And he danced around the houses, and the guy just got fed up and he says, "Okay, so you're not going to answer the question." All right. So at the time of that fight, they didn't say it was for the mandatory spot. After the fight, they didn't say it was a mandatory spot. It was some time after the fight that they said Dominic Breazeal has just beat Molina, and therefore he is our mandatory, and he's going to fight Deontay Wilder next.
All because Dominic Breazeal threatened legal action, so they had to give it to him, apparently.
Oh, yeah, I heard that story as well. Yeah. So that's a very likely reality. That's a very likely reality. People asking what Dominic legal action against what? Well, because he was threatening Deontay Wilder with legal action because Deontay Wilder punched him something in a hotel. You've seen the video.
Oh, not that one. No, he was threatening the WBC with legal action because he was contracted to fight Stavern for the interim and mandatory spot. But Stavern ended up getting bumped up because Luis Ortiz popped dirty. So Stavern got to fight Wilder. And because Breazeal was already contracted to fight for the final eliminator and he missed out, they had to give him another fight as a final eliminator for the mandatory spot. So they just called the fight that had already been in Eric Molina a final eliminator, but only for Dominic Breazeal. If Eric Molina won that fight, he was not mandatory. So how much?
WBCBS.
Damn right.
WBCBS. That's what we should call it.
Absolutely.
WBCBS. Dillian White was deserving, was the number 1 contender, and he should have been fighting for Deontay Wilder.
So can I hop in for a second here?
Yeah, you're next, but I just want to say this. And remember, when they did offer, I put it to you that they did not actually offer Dillian White a fight to be mandatory as in first mandatory. They offered him the fight to be second mandatory when he was already number 1 ranked. Over to Fight Doctor.
So there's a difference between being the number 1 ranked heavyweight or the number 1 ranked in the WBC and being the mandatory challenger. There's a difference there. A lot of people think that just because you are ranked number 1 by the WBC, you automatically become mandatory. In fact, the same thing is true for the IBF. You can be ranked number 1 and yet you cannot be the mandatory challenger.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. But carry on. That's fine.
Which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But That's the way the WBC works. And with the WBC, it seems to be more of arbitrary how they decide who is going to be the mandatory challenger, as opposed to the IBF. Their ranking system is a bit more fair, in my opinion. Or I take that back.
Fight Doctor, can't hear you.
Wi-Fi
Okay.
collapse.
Okay, so Fight Doctor will come back in when he gets the chance. So yeah, it seems like Deontay Wilder. Seems like Dillian White was being offered second mandatory. No. Shove that up your derriere, was his response. Shove the second mandatory up your derriere. The only reason he didn't get to fight Deontay Wilder was because of WBCBS. I don't know how much you can really blame White for that. Don't know how many hoops you have to jump through. He was fighting tougher opponents than the WBC wanted to have him fight, and it was not even the case that the WBC said, "Hey, you go and fight Ortiz. Go and fight Ortiz to be mandatory." No, I said go and fight Ortiz to be second mandatory. After they'd done their hocus pocus with Breezel, having Breezel jump over, leapfrog Dillian White. And I don't know, can anybody be forthcoming with a reason why Breezel was a better choice than Dillian White? Breezel with a lesser record, with lesser wins. Can anybody give me a reason why he should have got the shot over?
I can answer that. I can answer that question.
Go ahead.
I think it's quite simple. The people behind Brazil, whatever his name is, have better connections at the WBC. I think that's the only way you can. That's the logical explanation behind why Brazil got his shot and White didn't.
Over to Troy Graham.
No, because see, he was supposed to get his shot 17 to 18 months ago. We talking about Brazil, right? He basically waited for a year and a half to get his shot, right? And it isn't that his people have better connection, because if his people were so powerful, he would have a better record, and he would be more well known, right? No, he was the safer fighter out of the two, because one of them is a puncher and he's a known tough fighter. The other one is a plodding, slow guy that moves forward. Which one do you think is the safer fighter? Come on, Fight Doctor. That was for you.
Listen, I have to disagree with this whole notion. I mean, if you want to say that.
No, let's go around the table properly. You've posed a question, Fight Doctor. We will get back to you, but we're working around the table in response to the question, so we don't get lost in the question. Big Boys Boxing.
So, to me, it seems like Wilder's management has more influence on the WBC because they seem to be able to influence who becomes the mandatory. If they can get a safer option in there as the mandatory, then that's corruption, man. That's corruption, because Dominic Brazil didn't deserve to be mandatory in the first place. He didn't even deserve a shot at becoming mandatory against Stavern in the first place. That should have been Dillian White fighting Stavern in that mandatory in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So for me, it's all corruption.
Yeah, pure and simple. And to say, Fight Doctor, for you to say that Brazil, I say Brazil, has better connections than Dillian White. I don't know. I think not. He's managers and promoters. They're not of the they don't have the clout. I mean, his manager. I don't know. I'm talking about his promoter. They don't have the clout of an Eddie Hearn. But they do have Breezel is sitting under the umbrella, however, of Al Heyman. Al Heyman, Mauricio Suleiman, Breezel being not a good a fighter as Dillian White, Deontay Wilder, WBC protection program. There, my friend, there is where the answer, the real answer, lies. Back to you, Fight Doctor. You said you want to expand further on your point.
Well, I don't agree that Dillian White necessarily has a better machine working behind him than Brazil does. Maybe he does. I don't know. But I think that, but I'm definitely convinced that the reason why Brazil got the fight over Dillian White is because of whatever machine is working behind Brazil has more connections with the WBC and the business of boxing in America. I mean, look, politics is a part of boxing. All right. So we just have to come to terms with this reality. And, you know, we're talking about a guy in Deontay Wilder, who's an American-based heavyweight champion, reasonably popular heavyweight champion, with the most powerful man in boxing behind him. So, you know, you can't say the same for Dillian White. You just can't.
Who's the most powerful man in boxing?
Well, Al Heyman. Al Heyman runs boxing. Okay, it's been that way for a long time. Well, listen, I tell you what. Look, boxing is a business, right? Boxing is a business, first and foremost.
Is he running boxing or is he running a protection bracket?
Is there a difference? Is there a difference? Because if there is, I fail to see it. Okay, so
how many years has he been in boxing? How many years has he been in boxing?
I mean, Al Heyman has been in boxing for 20, 25 years, maybe.
Who?
Al Heyman.
Wow, he's a music promoter. But anyway, let Fight Doctor get his point off, and then we respond to his point rather than. So
look, anyone who disagrees that Al Heyman runs boxing, that's fine and dandy. But again, let's look at the facts. Boxing is a business, and in how Al Heyman, you're looking at a guy who has put on the 2 or 3 biggest promotions in the history of the sport. So I ask again,
what did you just say? In how Heyman has put on 2 or 3 of the biggest productions in sport? In the sport of boxing, in the history of the sport of boxing. Oh, and in fact, I take that. You know what? I take that back. You might be right. It might be in the history of sport. You're talking about Mayweather. You're talking about promoting Mayweather. I'm talking about
exactly. So
okay, what's the other one?
At the end of the day,
finish.
Mayweather Pacquiao, of course. Mayweather Canelo. Mayweather.
That was Golden Boy.
Al Heyman. Golden Boy is just the front person. Okay, and Golden Boy had nothing to do with the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. Nothing. So Golden Boy just the front person. Look, what happened when Golden Boy disassociated itself with Al Heyman? What happened?
No, hold on. No. Just make your ultimate point, and we'll move it around the table.
My ultimate point is that boxing is a business first, and money talks. And the man who puts on the biggest shows in boxing has put on the biggest shows and has consistently put on the biggest shows in boxing is Al Heyman. So in Al Heyman, Deontay Wilder has the most influential people in the sport working on his behalf. So that's the point I'm making.
Most influential people in the sport working on his behalf. He's got better connections. Breezel was better connected to perpetrate this crime on the boxing public, while the WBC protection of Wilder was effected by Al Heyman, is what I'm hearing. Big boys boxing.
Well, I wouldn't quite word it like connections. I would say Brazil was an association of Al Heyman, who has a handle on the WBC. That's how he got his position. It wasn't because he's got connections. It's because he's a walking punch bag and he's one of Al Heyman's minions.
Yes.
Okay, I was going to jump in. Doctor, if that's cool.
Sorry?
I was going to jump in. I got knocked off knocked off because I came in.
It's your turn.
Okay, good. Let me break a couple of things down to fight doctor just to clear him up because he has some things wrong. Al Heyman was a golden boy first, and what he did was he tried to steal. He had a coup. He had a coup, and he took a bunch of fighters, him and Schaefer, and basically they were sued and they lost. Okay, then he started the PBC, and you said the two biggest fights. I heard Pacquiao versus Mayweather. That's a fight that nobody wants to remember because it was horrible. I don't know what the second one was. He said Canelo versus Mayweather again. That was Golden Boy. That wasn't Heyman. Okay, because Canelo was with Golden Boy, not Canelo was with Golden Boy. He wasn't, Oscar and his people put that fight on. If he was so big, Heyman, why was he with Golden Boy to start with in the first place? Why didn't he start his own thing? He's the most powerful man in boxing, really?
Golden Boy was Heyman's own thing. It was. In fact, it probably still is.
No, Golden Boy was Heyman's thing. Heyman didn't start Golden Boy.
No, he didn't. Oscar did. What are you talking about?
So, all right, then here's my...
No, it's not your turn yet, Fight Doctor. Troy, finish your point,
please. He's completely wrong, man. Well, Oscar De La Hoya, hence the name Golden Boy. He started that. He learned from Bob Arum, and he took what he learned from Bob Arum, and then once he retired from boxing, he started his thing. I mean, because Heyman was so good, why is the PBC in debt? Why they not putting on big fights? When's the last time?
What's Heyman without Floyd? What's happened since Floyd's retired? How many huge fights has Al Heyman put on?
That's a good point.
But just to fill my point in, Heyman is a good businessman. He's not a good boxing man. He doesn't know he had to be taught the sport. He's a great businessman, but he's not a boxing guy. He doesn't know the business of boxing. Oscar does. He learned from Arum, like I said. So I don't know how he's the most powerful. If he's so powerful, how come the Joshua Wilder fight never get made? How come fights with his own people don't get made? You got these twin boxers over here that are champions, but you can't get them. You can't get them fights. You can't get them exposure. How powerful are you?
How good is he?
Listen, I can answer that question. At the end of the day, look. At the end of the day, let's talk about the facts. Okay, let's talk about the facts. Now,
I didn't cut you. You're cutting me off, right? Okay. So if he's so powerful, why does he ask his fighters to turn down big paydays, turn down $100 million? He asked, he told Kid Chocolate to turn down a fight with Triple G. And then what happened? You have Jacobs, who came back from cancer. You telling me he couldn't turn him into something else? Make him a big star based on that? How powerful is this dude if nobody really knows his fighters outside of boxing fans? Like he always says, how powerful is he? You have all these fighters, but none of them are really known mainstream, and they're good fighters and they all have good backstories, but none of them are really known mainstream, and your company is in debt. So go ahead and break down how he's such a powerful dude in boxing.
So, he was powerful enough to put on the biggest event in history of the sport.
The most boring event in history of the sport, too.
All right. So wait, hold on, wait. Listen. Two things, okay? Two things. Now, we're not going to debate, right? Because, I debate my peers, all others I teach, okay? So we're not going to debate.
Who are you not going to debate?
Mr. Troy. Now, second thing is that let's discuss the facts. Now, what you're talking about is, what your opinion is, how boring the fight was. Look, look.
It's
We're gonna talk
not,
about the
it's
facts.
not an opinion. It was born.
Hold on a second. Now, hold on a second. Now, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Now, you wanted me to let you be heard. Now, pay me the same courtesy, please. Thank you. All right. So, lesson is not over yet. All right. Let's discuss the facts. All right. Now, what has Golden Boy done since? I mean, honestly, Golden Boy is. Listen. After the split from Heyman, Golden Boy was for a while basically the underboss. De La Hoya spent some time as the underboss, the minion of Bob Arum, until he got the DAZN deal. Okay, and then he went off to do DAZN. All right, and now he's basically doing the bidding of DAZN. All right, Canelo signs this big fat contract. Listen, Alvarez doesn't even really want to be associated with De La Hoya. You might as well call it Alvarez promotions, because he has more juice at Golden Boy than De La Hoya does. And when Alvarez retires, when he calls it a day, that's going to be it for Golden Boy. It will be over.
That's the same thing they said.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Wait. Lesson is not over yet. Lesson's not over. All right. So let's talk about the facts. Now, I'm not interested in knowing how you think or what you thought of how exciting the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight was. That's beside the point. It got nothing to do with the business of the sport and the fact of the matter, which is this, that the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight was huge. And I don't think
money-wise it was huge, but no fan.
Hold on a second. Now, wait a minute. Now, I don't know that you've polled all boxing fans in the world, whereas you can speak for all of them. You can speak for yourself.
It was boring.
Okay, but let's talk about the facts.
I watched the fight at the casino. I'm just gonna butt in, but I'll butt out as well. I watched the fight at a casino, and people left that fight. In silence.
Going boo!
It was absolute. Trust me, people left that fight like they'd just been to a funeral or they were going to a funeral. It was silent. But carry on, Fight Doctor.
But at the end of the day, in terms of the business of the sport, now if you want to say Al Heyman isn't a boxing guy, but that's fine. Okay, if you want to say he's a businessman, that's fine. Listen, boxing is a business first. Before it's a sport, it's a business, and it's always been that way. All right, it's always been that way from day one. You go back and look at boxing; it's always been run by the most corrupt people. Tex Rickard was, I want to say he was known. He made his money through gambling. Okay, and you go back and look at the sport of boxing and how in the 40s and the 50s it was basically a function of the mafia. Boxing was.
Yep. And
the way it's run now, it seems to me that nothing has changed. So if you're saying that Al Heyman isn't a boxing guy, he's a business guy, then basically what you're saying is he's a boxing guy because boxing is a business first, which is what we all need to understand here.
No, so but there's boxing men, there's businessmen, there's boxing men. We must understand the difference in that. But carry on.
Well, I would frame it this way. There are businessmen, right? And then there, of course, is the business of boxing. And then there are guys who love the sport. There are guys who love the sweet science. People like us. Okay? And we have a different view. We look at the sport as an art, whereas the people who run the sport look at it as a means to increase their bank accounts. So I think we can all agree on that. So, but I'm speaking to the facts in terms of the business of the sport. And Golden Boy, look, Canelo has the big fat contract with DAZN, but that pales in comparison. Look, Floyd Mayweather, he made an assessment, observation about Canelo's contract that what Canelo gets from DAZN in 10 or 11 fights, Floyd made that in one night. Thank you, Mr. Al Heyman.
Money, and nobody cares about his fights. Go on.
No, it's moving.
Okay, well, again,
moving it around now.
My friend.
Okay, so make your point, please, Fight Doctor, in a succinct sentence, if you could.
Well, listen, Troy keeps talking about what nobody does, thinks this, and what nobody thinks that. Look, I'm talking about the facts here. Now, you can't speak for everyone. You can speak for yourself, but you're not going to convince me that all of boxing agrees with your point of view or your opinion, because they obviously don't. Okay, because it's
if I may, just
a big world. There are lots of boxing fans in the world.
If I may, just to get this back on track, because I think it may have strayed. Remember the framework. We're talking about ultimately Dillian White, Breezel, Wilder. We've moved on from Parker now. I think that's been resolved. We're talking about that situation where Breezel got to fight Wilder and White did not. He had stumbling blocks put in his way. That's the fight, doctor. That's what we're talking about, really.
Right. So yeah, I think that.
So you're
reasonable person can look at the
you're talking about Al Heyman. So if you tie Al Heyman in with that, I think that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Right. And I think any reasonable person can look at the situation and just understand that if you look at Wilder's career, and he's of course knocked over a lot of tomato cans. You look at the Brazil situation, that the reason why Brazil would have got the fight over someone like Dillian White is because of his connections. Now, that's just my opinion, but I think if an objective, honest assessment of the situation, a reasonable person would come to that conclusion.
Okay, that's a succinct argument. It was down to his connections. What do I say about that? Down to his connections. It was totally down to his connections. The WBC started throwing stumbling. Dillian White was number one ranked in the WBC. Everything looked set. Got to number one. Everything looked set that he was going to be fighting Deontay Wilder, and all of a sudden they come out with some. Now the WBC start throwing stumbling blocks in his way. He was supposed to be fighting that we thought is number one is going to be fighting Deontay Wilder, but no. Somehow they concoct a situation where Breezel is supposed to fight Stavern to decide some kind of mandatory. I don't even think they were totally clear about that. Stavern, why would he be fighting Stavern? It wasn't even ranked, generally ranked. Stavern hadn't really fought anybody for years.
He was interim champion at the time, though.
He was interim champion. Who's Stavern? Stavern was interim champ.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point. Thanks for reminding me of that. Okay, so he was interim champ at the time. The obvious person who should have been fighting him would have been the number one guy, Dillian White, ranked above Breezel. This is my summing up now. Ranked above Breezel. Common sense, logic said Dillian White, but no. They concoct a situation where that guy is supposed to be fighting Stavern is Breezel. Stavern drops out. Now they're putting Molina. But they don't say this is going to be for the mandatory position. Number one mandatory. They didn't say that. Before the event, they didn't say it. After the event, they didn't say it. It was sometime after the event where they finally made the announcement that Breezel is the mandatory guy. So I think WBC corruption, WBCBS is the answer. Has Al Heyman got anything to do with that? Absolutely. I think he has a cozy relationship. It appears he has a cozy relationship, although I will add that I did remember looking at Mauricio Suleiman's face at the end of the Wilder Fury 2. And I recall thinking, he doesn't look upset. Mauricio Suleiman does not in any way look upset. Was Mauricio Suleiman relieved to have shed the burden of protecting Deontay Wilder? But that's another story. That's just my position, my final word on that. Big Boys Boxing, have your final word on that before we move on to another topic after I go to Troy, obviously. Big Boys Boxing.
Yeah, well, I don't think Mauricio was upset because he's thinking to himself, all right, this is setting it up for a rematch. I'm going to get some more money out of this for the WBC. No big deal. It's all good. Yeah. And possibly maybe it was a bit of a weight off his shoulders. He doesn't have to deal with the demands of Al Heyman as much anymore because his fighter isn't the champion. So maybe you're right there with some sort of relief from Mauricio.
That's what it looked like to me. I'm not a mind reader, although I have read some minds in my time. Troy, final word on this topic before we move on. We've thoroughly battered this one.
Yeah, I mean, based on what you said about Suleiman's face after the fight, he's probably thinking, "I'm so glad I'm finished with this payaso, this clown. I don't have to worry about him anymore. Now I got a real fighter to actually stand by my company, someone we don't have to front for." And if Dominic was so connected, it wouldn't have taken him a year and a half to get his blasted title shot and all this in and out and rigmarole. All right, he would have got it immediately. It wouldn't have taken him a year and a half, and he's with the PBC. So if he's that daggone connected, why did it take him a year and a half and he's sitting right there as Deontay Wilder's next door neighbor? Huh? Somebody tell me somebody tell me before I put on my Denzel Washington voice. Okay, somebody tell me.
Okay. What we got here? Okay, we got a lot of comments. That's good. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. The super chat button is there at your discretion, and the PayPal button is in the description box. Okay, that's a public information thing. Okay, so we have thoroughly chopped, dissected the whole of that, and so I'm satisfied. We've done a good job on the dissection, and so let me switch over to the new topic. Let me go. How do I decide? Yep.
You didn't want to touch on Brazil possibly fighting White after he became mandatory before we move on, or not?
Yeah. Pose that question then, big boys. Pose the question. Or did
there was Dillian was talking about fighting Dominic Brazil as well once he was already in the mandatory position, and Brazil was saying, "Well, yeah, I'll fight you for $5 million." And Dillian wasn't having any of that. Now, the way I see it, if Dillian was supposed to stump up $5 million for Brazil to get that fight, then White should have had the rights to put it on whatever network he wanted, and keep all the gate, all the pay-per-view, everything else. And Brazil only gets the $5 million flat fee. That's it. Now, if that had have come to fruition, I guarantee Al Heyman would have said, "You're not fighting on another network, Dominic. What are you, mad?" And it wouldn't have happened anyway. I think it was just a big front from Dominic Brazil saying, "Yeah, I'll fight you," but he really wasn't. He knew it.
Okay, so I'll go first on that. Okay, so why the hell? I say my position is, why the hell would Dillian White be paying the Breezel $5 million when Breezel only got $500,000 for fighting Wilder? I say that alone is utter nonsense from Breezel. And okay, let's say PBC pay more than advertised. Okay, so let's say he got paid 50%, 100% more than was advertised. So now he's getting paid $1 million. Why are you asking White for 5? Why are you asking White for 5 times what you got paid, or 10 times what you got paid to fight the champion? What the hell is that? It's blatantly obvious what that is. That is just nonsense. That's just moving your mouth, moving your lips, thinking people are mugs. And I'm afraid that Eddie Hearn, his father was an accountant. I would imagine he's passed down a few of his talents to his son. Ain't no mugs. I know how to bounce the books. And Breezel for $5 million, mate, do one. Over here in the UK, when someone's talking pure nonsense and you're fed up with it, you might just say, mate, do one. The Fight Doctor.
I noticed the fight pharmacist is being quiet.
The Fight Doctor. No, I just went to him. The Fight Doctor.
So, look, I'm not a fan of any particular promoter or manager in the sport. I am a guy who has always took the side of the fighter because
I think most of us
on the
did.
boxing podium.
I don't think none of us came in this thing as a promoter, promoters, unless you want to be a promoter yourself. I think that people are, supporters, well, generally, but I hear what you're saying. That's not exclusively true. Back to you, Fighter.
Yeah. So, my thing is, I think, these guys have a short shelf life. And, we've seen fighters get sustained life-changing injuries in the ring, who was it? Light heavyweight. What was his name?
Light heavyweight. Well, I can go back.
Superman. What's his name?
I can go back
his name escapes me at the moment.
I can go back to what's his name? The guy who used to fight the Dogs. Nigel Benn fought him.
Yeah.
Gerald McClellan.
Gerald McClellan.
His name was Gerald.
Yeah.
McClellan.
So look, that can happen on any given night, right? So I think that these guys should get the most money that they can each time out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, in my opinion, the way I see things, it's just criminal how fighters are sometimes mistreated and cheated, outright cheated, when these guys are, literally putting their lives on the line.
Are you justifying? Is this leading to you justifying Dominic Breezel's request for $5 million from White? Is this where you're leading to?
No, not necessarily. Of course, the guys. Look, like I said, boxing is a business, and certain fighters have more market value, and others have less.
Yeah.
However,
so why is Breezel asking for $5 million? What is that? Is that realistic?
Well, if he gets it, then it's realistic. If it's not, then it wasn't. Okay. It's just that simple.
Okay. I think that wraps it. Okay, but if you got more, it's okay. Sorry, basically, if a guy's asking for $5 million, it's realistic if he gets it, and if he doesn't, then it's not. Okay. And regarding the fact that that $5 million was at least 5 times more than he got paid for fighting Dillian White, how do you rationalize that fight, Doctor?
Well, I don't know that you can. I don't know that I can.
It's irrational. Is that a fair thing to say? On the face of it, a logical man will look at that situation and say it is not logical.
It's not. It's not. But what kind of math is he working with? It depends on the situation. Does this guy need me? Is there something I have that this guy needs?
It's a price on his mandatory position, pretty much, isn't it?
So it again, what's the mathematics that he's what equation is he working with? Where
with an equation that clearly doesn't appear to make logical sense. If it's illogical, it don't make logical sense.
Well, listen, I would modify that, and I would say if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So the question is, does his approach make money? Is it making him the money he needs to make? Is he going to get the $5 million? If he gets the $5 million, it makes sense. If he doesn't, then it didn't.
Mm-hmm. It didn't make sense. He didn't get it. And Stevenson, Adonis Stevenson was who you were talking about. Fight Doctor, thanks to the chat for pointing that out. Over to you, Big Boys Boxing. Your assessment.
I thought it was basically asking for a cash out, and if he had lost that fight, we wouldn't have seen Dominic Breazeale box again. Thank you for the $5 million. I just sold you my mandatory position. Catch you later. But like I said, I don't think there was much possibility of it ever happening in the first place. Al Heyman wouldn't let Dominic Breazeale go to another network to fight in a final eliminator. No way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's nicely wrapped up. And so I think we've exhausted that one thoroughly done it. And so let's switch over. Let us switch over. And the title is there. Holyfield talks. Holyfield says talks have begun with Mike Tyson for the trilogy. Got a little bit of a story with that. Got a little bit of a story with that. Where's the background? Let me change the background. Let me change the background. Can I? Of course I can. There it is. That's the background, but we can't see it. Can I change the foreground? No, I want to change the foreground.
Well, while you're doing that, you mind if I step in here?
Yeah, step in.
Okay. Well, this whole talk about a trilogy with Holyfield and Tyson, Tyson already stated clearly on his hot boxing or whatever it is his podcast is that he's fighting for charity. It's going to be exhibition bouts. So of course, if he fights Holyfield, there's going to be some pride in there, but it's still going to be for charity. He's going to make it somehow that they do it for charity and they both get something from it. But most of the money is going to go to charity. So it's not going to be what people think it is. They're probably going to be wearing headgear and all that, right? But it's not that he's trying to come back and continue his career. It's not that Holyfield's trying to come back and continue his career. Holyfield's just simply saying, if I get in there now at this age with Tyson, pay me. And Mike is like, I'm doing this for charity, but we could work together.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's two men that are on a different path to something. This, because one of them wants to do it for charity. The other one is like, well, I'll come back and it'll generate some interest. Pay me. Mm-hmm. That's all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It
could end up being somebody that's not even a boxer. They could put Dwayne the Rock Johnson in there and both fight for charity or something like that.
I hope not. Leave that mess to Floyd Mayweather. Leave that garbage to him.
Well, okay. So let me share the story. Let me share the story with you. Let's see what they're actually saying. I ain't read it yet. All right, to keep these things a surprise for me too. So let's see how that looks on the screen. Yeah, that looks decent. That looks reasonable. Okay, let's get to the story. So, according to Evander Holyfield, there have been discussions with Mike Tyson's team with respect to a potential exhibition clash. You're right, Troy. You are right. Okay, so the two former undisputed heavyweight champions were heated rivals during their respective careers. They first collided in '96 when Holyfield pulled off a huge upset when he stopped Tyson in the 11th round. I remember that fight vividly. Hell of a fight. I was rooting for Evander. I don't know why I was rooting for Evander, but I was. The rematch is more famous than the first, with Tyson getting disqualified in the 3rd round for biting off a piece of Holyfield's ear. I have to say, I was a fan. I was rooting for Evander, but I didn't know about his headbutts at that time. Had I known that, my perspective, my position may have been different. Okay, so the two boxers have become very friendly over the years. Tyson is 53. He's released several viral training clips, and Evander Holyfield is 57. Did you know that? Did you all know that? I wasn't aware that he's 57. So that's what is it? What was the quote? His people have been talking to my people, and we haven't yet got a solid deal together, but it's coming that way. Holyfield told 3 Point Conversation podcast. Never heard of him. Never. Who's she? Okay. If it happens, that's no problem. The thing is, he was doing something and I was doing something. When I told people about it, they saw me working out and they kind of put 2 and 2 together. They must be coming together to do this. Holyfield says financial gain is not his main motivation for returning to the ring. Well, the point of the comeback, somebody just made up the names themselves. I'd been telling people that I wanted to start doing exhibitions, meaning that with my foundation, the Holyfield Foundation, I wanted to help the kids. I wanted to come back and be able to show the kids that if you take care of your body at a young age, if you don't get bad habits, you don't got to put them down. Oh, you don't get bad habits, you don't got to put them down. Okay. Then at an old age, you ain't got to be worried about what type of person you're going to be or if somebody is going to have to help. That's basically saying that take care of yourself when you're young, stay healthy, keep away from bad habits, and then you'll be golden in old age. 57 years of age. Damn. Okay, so where do we go? Who? Fight Doctor. Let's go to the Fight Doctor. The Fight Doctor there? No. Fight Doctor's not there. Can't see Big Boys Boxing either. Oh, hold on. I got a message. That's Big Boys Boxing. We're going to have to fly. Rafi, thank you very much. Big Boys Boxing. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so where are we now? Let's go to the chat. Yeah. Peace out. Let me write that down. Cheers, BBB. That's a good one. Okay, so yeah, there it is. An exhibition. 53-year-old versus 57-year-old. Do people want to see? I don't particularly want to see, even though it's an exhibition. I just make it fun. What? Yeah, you're coming back. Why the hell do you want to fight Holyfield, even in an exhibition? I say, forget about that. Make it fun. And yeah, make it fun. Holyfield, that's got serious. They were too serious. That was back in the day. Serious fighting. I don't know. I'm not down with it. Let's see what the people in the chat are saying. Keep it exhibition level, yeah. What is this saying? It might be on the Zuffa, Dana White boxing promotion. I don't know. Is he carrying on? Well, Zuffa, on the Zuffa? Well, Zuffa went out with the Fertitas. It's under Endeavor now. Zuffa don't own the UFC anymore. They sold it to Endeavor. Or was it a year ago? Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, so it's under Endeavor. Dana White. Is Dana White still planning to do the boxing promotion thing? I don't know. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about Endeavor buying PBC, but maybe they saw the books. Maybe they saw the books and ran to the hills. I don't know. What's the chat saying? Uno momento. Okay. Boom. All right. Yeah. Holyfield versus Tyson exhibition. I'm all ears. Thank you, BBB. Gonna do on ESPN on the Dana White boxing. Hey, maybe. Holyfield might be hurting for cash. Hope he makes some with exhibition level. Nothing risky though. Yeah. Holyfield had to sell his mansion for cash. Yeah, but you know, I would imagine that he probably bounced back from that to one extent or another. I mean, look at Tyson, Mike Tyson. He went down the hole big time, and he's back. He bounced back. He went on the road with his show. His wife kind of helped him script the show and or structure the show, and he's back. Now he's a ganja farmer. Legally. Talking about Mike Tyson, of course. What am I saying here? I'm not a big fan of fights at these guys' age. No, I'm not at all. I think if Evander Holyfield's in the mix, then it ain't no exhibition. I don't see Evander Holyfield fighting no exhibition. It's too competitive. I'm not into it.
He just fought an exhibition, kinda.
Did he?
Yeah, didn't he put on a little show with a politician a couple of years ago?
Did he? Did you see that fight? I didn't see it. I didn't see that fight.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it, but I heard about him. He was in a boxing ring with a politician. I can't remember the politician's name.
Do you think he's gonna have the same intensity with the politician that he's gonna have facing Mike Tyson?
Well, listen, Holyfield, it just boils down to what he if he gets what he wants before he gets in the ring, he'll do what he's told. Period.
Gets what he wants. When he gets in the ring, he's do what he's told.
Yeah, whereas Tyson is on a different plane of existence right now. He sees it like this. He's lived a life that basically almost every man wants to live, and he survived. Right?
Yeah.
And now he did his journey with the toad and everything else, and he wants to give back. He wants to give back to a universe that he took a lot from. He just wants to. That's his way of saying thank you for not taking me all the times I tried to take myself. All the women in the unprotected sex, me sleeping with tigers, me fighting dudes in the street and their heads hitting the concrete and they still didn't die and I didn't, things like that. Just so he wants to give back to the universe, man. As he's in a real spiritual place, which is why he wants to give so much. Because any man that loses, he lost close to $1 billion. Tyson, he lost close to $1 billion, and he bounced back. He's not broke by. Okay, you and I have a standard of being broke, which would be homeless and not have any place to go or not have any money, right?
Yeah,
that's a level of. Yeah, so when most people say he's broke, he's worth a couple of million. Plus, he has the ranch, and that's doing well. He's selling the weed, that's doing well. Podcast, I'm sure, generates a lot of money for him. He did the one-man show. He's doing a lot, right? His name still generates money, right?
Yeah.
Holyfield, same thing. Lost a lot of money, man. When you have a mansion that is the length of a football field, right? It costs you some money. So people don't know, but he goes overseas a lot. He gets paid to go overseas a lot. He has a barbecue sauce. Evander, I don't remember the name of it, but he gets a lot of speaking gigs, maybe training gigs. Evander stays busy and he's making money. Is he as wealthy as he was before? No, but he's not destitute. Neither man is destitute, but they're not what they used to be, right?
Yeah, I think that
it's just that one of them.
Yeah, I think that Mike Tyson. I think he's getting comfortable. Well, I'm not saying comfortable is the wrong word, but I think he's out of the woods as far as the finances are concerned. He did the one-man show, and he got I think he's financially comfortable again. And with Evander Holyfield constantly working, I get the impression that he is okay as well. So both guys are at the very least, they are okay. They're okay.
Both of them have big homes. One of them has a personal trainer and a dietitian. That's actually Holyfield. He works out every day, and he has a dietitian and all that. So he's doing well, and his son is about to go into the NFL or something like that. So he's doing good.
You mean another son? You mean another son?
Yes. Yeah. Because remember, he got 8 children. So yeah.
Okay. So I think the question here and to the chat is: do you want to see? I can hear you doing something there, Troy. So mute yourself if you're doing anything else. Do you want to see Mike Tyson come back in an exhibition match with Evander Holyfield? And my answer to that is no. I really don't want to see it. I don't see them two guys in an exhibition match. It's impossible. Mike Tyson coming back, I think it should just be for fun, entertain people. I don't want to see him in another war. And I don't see Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson in a ring playing pitter-patter.
No, you didn't see him when he did his other thing, did you? Tyson did exhibition with a fighter by the name of Corey T-Rex Saunders.
Okay.
Big boy from out of Maryland. Beautiful soul too, because I met the dude at 19, right?
Yeah.
So the dude had on the headgear and everything, and Tyson, I don't believe, had on headgear, but they were they were going back and forth a little bit, but it was in a sense it was controlled. But Tyson did hit him with a couple of hard shots. Corey hit him with a couple of hard shots, but it was controlled. Let me put it like this: it was more exciting than any Floyd fight I've seen in 10 years, right? And if Holyfield and Tyson do get together, outside of the Fury fights, they'll probably sell more than any fight Deontay Wilder was in, outside of the Fury fights.
Okay, so we got a couple of no's from the chat. You're saying yes, and I'm saying no. I don't want to see them two. I don't believe those two guys could be playing pitter-patter inside the ring. It might have done with Corey Saunders. It ain't going to go down like that against Evander Holyfield. They're going to be fighting for the win. There ain't going to be no exhibition. No way.
That's because people have this thing in their mind of how it's going to be. But, behind closed doors because you got to understand, you're talking about these two men have been through something. I don't know if you actually heard Holyfield talk, right? He wasn't talking like he was a warrior. He said, okay, well, I will come back and talk to Mike. Well, basically said, I want to get paid. He never once said, I want to get in there and have a shootout with Mike or go toe-to-toe with him. He's almost 60. He's not looking to prove anything to anybody, right?
Competitive spirit doesn't go nowhere.
It doesn't go in. It doesn't go anywhere, but Father Time never loses either.
It don't matter.
He's
still going to be doing the best. He's still
common sense always wins over.
He's still going to be doing the best of his ability to win that fight. There ain't no exhibition.
Okay, well, let me clear this up. This is not going to be, a slap boxing contest. This is going to be two men with headgear and stuff actually showing off what they have left. And what they have left will probably take them to 3 rounds. So neither man is going to get hurt. There's going to be some explosions here and there from 50-plus-year-old men. Okay?
Yeah.
So what you're talking about going to war and all that, it's not going to be a war. It's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be a war. It's going to be a
battle.
It's going to be control. Yeah. It's like it's like a battle you said, but it's a control battle. Like, okay, I'm gonna throw this jab. You come back with a fierce what? I'll give you. I don't know if you saw the movie with Rock and Idris Elba, right?
Nope.
Did you see them? Dang. Nope. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was my thing. How about have you seen any of the Rocky movies?
I saw Rocky 1.
Okay. All of that nonsense they did. That fight was the worst choreographed fight in the world. But did you see Creed? How about Creed 1 or 2?
Nah. I watch documentaries.
Man, I can't use any analogies then.
I watch documentaries. I don't watch films that really anymore. Very rarely. I tell you a good film to watch. It's a documentary just come out on the life of the adult life of the Big Bear. What's he called? The Big Bear? Sonny Liston.
The life of George Foreman or something?
It's not to do with George Foreman. It's Sonny Liston. And it's his life. It's his life from a time of moving from down south, moving up to, where did he move to? Was it Chicago? Somewhere like that. Moved up north somewhere with his mother to follow his mother, and landed up earning money the bad way, the wrong way, out on the streets, and ended up in the clink. And that's where his boxing career is alleged to have started. Although when he got in there, they said that, wow, I was surprised he'd never put on some gloves before, because he came on very, very quickly, very, very well, and was became the champion of the prison. I think he was only 16, 17, 18. He was a young guy. 18. So Sonny Liston, why have I get into that point? I don't know, because you asked me about films. But anyway, I'm recommending that documentary. Go and look at the latest Sonny Liston documentary. It is very, very good. Very, very good. Very, very good story.
I'll tell you what, Ralphie, I don't really like documentaries, because you never know who actually came up with the documentary, because the last documentary I watched, I think that was the one everybody was clamoring about. I think it was called The Greatest, about Ali,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff in there was a bunch of garbage. A lot of what was in there was a bunch of garbage, and I turned it off. It was just garbage. It was.
Yeah. Well, I
It
mean,
was funny enough.
I never watched that film. I never watched that thing because I had a sense, I had a feeling. I go by my intuition, and I had a feeling that was going to be more filmy. I just like straight documentaries. But anyway, wrap up the point. Yeah, I'm not down with it because I don't want to see them particular two. I don't want to see them. I'm not even sure I want to see the point of an exhibition. I'm not even sure if that's the fight to have an exhibition with guys you previously fought. How could that live up to the excitement of the actual fights? I don't know. I don't think that's the idea of an exhibition here. I think an exhibition should be somehow fun. I don't think it's fun to see those guys in the ring way past their prime. In fact, I think it's a bad idea. Bad idea, full stop. That's my final word on it. Your final word on it, Troy.
My final word is, even if they go full out, neither man is going to get hurt. They're going to be wearing headgear and so forth. They're just going to show pockets of what they were at one point. So neither man is going to get hurt. Everybody's saying people are looking at their age and thinking they're fragile. Neither one of these men are fragile. They're probably in better shape than most 20-year-olds right now. And these are both men. I'm not talking about just one of them, both of them. So you're not looking at a fragile thing here. You're looking at two men that are still in shape, and they could do 3 rounds and have explosions and do what they need to do.
I say, Troy's dropped off. I say no. Don't do it. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't ruin what has happened before. And just know. Just know. Just have some fun exhibitions. I don't know who you're going to be fighting, whatever. I'll leave them guys. They came up with the idea of the exhibitions. I leave them guys to come up with who they should be matched up with. Okay. So Troy's back. We're moving on. We are moving on. So let me take down that. And let me see pictorially what I had lined up. That's not exciting me. That I could do another day. Okay. There's lots of topics here. Hell of a lot of topics here I've managed to get to. But let's get to this. I don't like to keep these things running super long. So let's get to this story. Where did I write this up? So we're showing that Eddie Hearn reveals big plans to stage events, including White v. Povetkin. So what's here? What's this here? Where do I go? Where do I go from here? I know. Let's change the picture. How about we change the picture? Okay.
Yeah, this is a good topic for me because I definitely have an opinion on this.
Yeah, you sound echoey. Okay. So, boom. We're sharing the picture. Now let me see. Let me go about sharing the actual story itself. Boom. Let me just check that we good. Yeah, we are very good. And okay. Let me get into the story. So, Eddie Hearn reveals a big plan to stage events, including White v. Povetkin. Okay, so Eddie Hearn says he's planning to stage a series of fights in the garden of the house where he grew up in Essex. And my initial thought was, holy freaking moly. This kid grew up in a look at this. This is a house. This is a house. And what's that? That's on the property. I guess that's the border. That's on the property. What the hell? What is that? What is that? Each one of these little things, some people will be happy to live in one of these little things. What is that? A shed? And then what's this here? What the hell is this? Is this the East Wing? Is this the West Wing? The East Wing? I don't know. What the hell? What
He can put on a fight at his house.
Well, damn. It's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. I mean, what is the genesis of this damn house? A family house? You haven't even seen the whole damn thing. And what is this over here? Is this the shadow of a drone? Over here in the left-hand corner of the screen? Is this a shadow of a drone? Either that or an alien. Anyway, what the hell? Anyway, so okay. So after I got over the shock of the way the house looked, a family house looking like that. That's bizarre. That's bizarre to me. So yeah, the Matchroom headquarters is now the Matchroom headquarters. That makes more sense. It's a business. It's a business place now. The Matchroom headquarters in Brentwood are in what used to be the home of Hearn's father, Barry Hearn, the Matchroom founder, and is situated in 15 acres of grounds off a country lane. I don't know. When I think of Essex, I don't think about this, but I guess they must have some it must be an opulent place in places. Must be quite well to do. Essex is a place where people who made it in London, they move out. They move out of what they call the big smoke, and they go to Essex. Okay, so where are we? Okay, so Hearn says he's planning fight nights on 4 consecutive Saturday nights in July and August, beginning with Terry Harper's WBC featherweight title defense against Natasha Jonas, and concluding with Dillian White's heavyweight fight against Alexander Povetkin. I got it all mapped out. The boxing changing rooms are here. What do I call this? Sky Sports Studio. What's that? In the house itself. Okay. What else they got here? Weigh-in. Oh, they're doing the weigh-ins in this place here, whatever that was. And weigh-in and press conference over there. And they've got another structure down at the bottom here, which would be the media zone. I don't know what these white boxes represent. I don't know. What's that? I don't know. Whatever. And media zone. Yeah, there's no public, so there's no seating area for public. Obviously, you'll be public free. No public whatsoever. That's what they're saying. And what is Eddie Hearn saying? No public will be admitted to the shows, and only 90 people will be allowed on site. Financially, this will be painful for us, but at the moment, hold on. After the momentum we've worked so hard to build over the past 10 years, I'm not going to let boxing just dribble back. While other guys go with arenas and empty studios, ours will look very different. Just imagine it. It's summer. The house will be all lit up. You can see Canary Wharf in the distance, and fireworks are going off. Then over the hill walks Dillian White and Alexander Povetkin for a massive tear-up on my lawn. World Championship boxing in my garden. Okay, so what else does this article say? What are the pertinent points? We can't just bring boxing back with the dark studio. We've built our product on the razzmatazz, the sexiness and the drama. It's all been about building up to that moment for a fight. So we can't afford to just bring people out like it's a game show. We want to create a gladiatorial environment that will not only ensure compelling views, but will also ensure fighters can perform at the highest level. Matchroom will also intend to take over a nearby hotel, which will serve as the test location, as well as the base for all personnel for the week. It's a huge mission. We're going to turn over our headquarters, turn our headquarters here into an outdoor venue for boxing, for live boxing, with a full canopy in the middle of the garden and the ring overlooking London. We're building changing rooms for the fighters, setting up a space for the ring walk, and figuring out how we can do everything you need for this kind of production with as few people as possible. We're in talks with a nearby hotel about taking control of it for each of the weeks. The way it will work is everyone involved, the fighters, their teams, the broadcasters, will go into the hotel on Tuesday, and the fighters and their team will go to a testing facility at the hotel. You will get tested, be handed a room key, and go straight to your room where you will wait to get the results of the test. Anyone having a test will have to wait in their room for a day before getting the all clear. The tests are comprehensive and they take 24 hours. So the fighters will stay in their room until they get a call from the doctors. Everyone in the show from top to bottom will have to go through that process before they are allowed on our premises. In terms of the fight week promotion, that is the other side of the challenge. How do you do media around it? Obviously, we can't have dozens of journalists turning up and sitting shoulder to shoulder for a presser and the weigh-in like normal. So we need to decide how it will go. It's likely that Zoom interviews and the social media live streams with the fighters and journalists will be the new norm. Pumping out clips of the fighters around the clock, building up to the weigh-ins on the grounds on the Friday, and then, of course, the fights on the Saturday. Okay, so that's how it's going to go down. That's how it's going to go down. Troy Graham.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's how it's going to go down. I just read the description of how they're going to do it.
Well, it sounds like a bunch of minutia, man. Just a bunch of confusion. But hopefully everything works out and we get the fights, because it just doesn't seem difficult to me to put on a fight. It really doesn't. Even now, with the COVID, it doesn't seem difficult. You're asking two men to do what they normally do, and just fight. Like I said, with all of this you just read and showing the house and all that, that's wonderful. But why can't you just put on a fight without all the nonsense?
Well, it's COVID era. They have to go. They have to do what they got to do to get it done. It's COVID era. People aren't supposed to be meeting. So that's what they're going to have to do in order to get the fight on. What's going on here? The Matchroom HQ these days. What is the house he grew up in? Where are the chickens and the cabbages? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So that's what's going to go down. That's what's going to go down. That's how it's going to go down. We've gone into the minutia of it. Yeah. So that's the program. That's the program. That's what they're going to do, and that's how they aim to do it. Let me stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, because I don't think the fighters have a problem fighting anywhere. To be honest with you, right? I don't think the fighters have a problem fighting anywhere. So they could fight in an empty arena. They could fight in somebody's in-house gym or whatever. Like this, I'm sure this place has a gym in it, right?
I don't know, but they're not coming down there to stay. They're gonna have a workout room somewhere. I don't know if it's in the house or at the hotel or wherever, but they will have facilities.
I mean, because people are still going to casinos right now. They're still going to casinos right now. So you telling me that it's okay to go to a casino, but you can't put on a fight?
People are going to.
Here's my favorite part.
I don't know. I didn't know casinos were open. I didn't know casinos were open.
Well, welcome to Maryland. Certain things in Maryland are open back up. Like not Baltimore City so much, but certain things in Maryland are open back up. We have two casinos, one in the city, one that's not in the city. So I'm sure they. Honestly, if they put it on at a casino and it's showed on the big screen, right?
Yeah.
then you're saying, Troy, why would they show it on the big screen with the fights at the casino? This way, the few people that they let in, they could gamble and keep their space and still watch the fight, right?
Yeah.
Or they could just do the Patreon thing and just charge people X amount of money, and everybody could do Patreon and go from there. Everybody still gets paid then. What is the problem?
They're gonna be showing the fight, aren't they? They're gonna be showing the fight
Right.
on the zone.
Right.
So why do you need a big screen in the casino?
No, I'm just throwing out ideas on how to get fights made, because when you listen to these promoters talking, these other like Aram and whoever else, they're like, oh, it's so difficult in these times. No, it's not. You're a salesman. You have to be flexible. All these dudes are just salesmen. If you're a promoter, you're a salesman. You have to be flexible, because nothing stays the same. Nothing. If everything stays the same, then that means you're not successful. It means you're stagnated.
It don't matter how flexible they are. It don't matter how flexible they are. If they're losing millions on live gates, and if people are losing jobs and don't have as much expendable income as previously, then
that's why you cut the prices and you put them in more homes.
It's not an imaginary problem. It's a real problem, isn't it? It's not imagination. It's real.
What'd you say?
It's not imaginary. It's real. There's a real problem. There are real problems.
I got that. I got that. Trust me. But that's why you cut the price and you put the fights in more homes. Because if you cut the price and you put it in more homes, you're still gonna break even.
Hold on, you're talking about PPV prices now.
Huh?
You're talking about PPV prices now.
Yes. Because these fights are gonna have to be on pay-per-view for anybody to make money, right?
I don't know. The zone ain't pay-per-view.
How else are they gonna make money?
Well, the zone ain't pay-per-view. It's an app, so it's gonna be on the zone app.
No, the zone isn't pay-per-view, but they could up the price. They could up the price a little bit, because I'm sure I don't know how much does the zone cost now, because I don't have the zone.
I don't know. We don't have it over here in the UK. It's what is it? $9.99 per month, but they're doing it yearly. Oh, it's more year. It's more monthly now. I think it's what, $100 a year, $150 a year, $100, $100,
$102 a year,
$100 a year, 100 and something like that.
That's not bad.
That's very good.
And does that include the paper? Right. But that include the pay-per-view fights as well, like the big fights?
There's no pay-per-view fights on the zone. It's all
there's no pay-per-view fights. So
there's no pay-per-view fights on the zone. It's all an app.
Okay,
good.
So
one price on the app.
One price. Okay, well,
one price, monthly.
In these times, I'm sure that they could find a way to actually be honest enough with people and say, look, when everybody's hurting right now, we get it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do X, Y, Z, but we're going to have to charge you a little bit more just to keep the business of boxing going. And some people are going to bark at it, sure. But there's those of us who really want it, so they're going to accept it until things go back to normal and go from there. They say, okay, if we want to watch this fight, we'll charge $10 to watch this fight, even on the zone, right? And they go, oh no, we paid out $101, but that was before this happened.
Yeah.
So just like you're hurting with the time, we're also hurting with the time, and we know what we said. But that was under normal circumstances. This is far from a normal circumstance. Right?
So what's your ultimate point? What's your ultimate point?
What'd you just say, Ralph?
I said, what is your ultimate point? What is your ultimate point?
What's my ultimate?
Yeah.
Okay, my ultimate point is that you have to charge people. Like, say, the zone would have to charge people more, even though they are paying for the the $100 for the whole year or whatever and for those who paying every month, they just charge them for the pay-per-view fights, like this fight here with White and Povetkin, I'm sure is going to be. they'll have to pay a separate price. That's all.
Let me clarify what I said
Some
earlier.
will, some won't. Some, you know.
Let me clarify what I said.
Okay.
Let me clarify what I said earlier on. Okay, so the zone, we don't have the zone in the UK. We have it over in the US of A, or the zone is in the US of A, and it's rolled out to certain countries in Europe, and it's going to be rolled out in the UK and further afield sometime this year. I think it should have been around now, but obviously with the pandemic, with the COVID-19 situation, then that's probably pushed things back. Obviously, there ain't no events right now. Okay, so the zone is a flat fee, monthly or yearly. Yearly's cheaper. In the UK, we don't yet have the zone, so it's not the zone we have. We have Matchroom, and Matchroom do have pay-per-views on Sky Sports. So yes, certain things will be pay-per-view. Obviously the Povetkin, the White versus Povetkin fight, that's a high caliber fight that will certainly be on pay-per-view. Yeah, ultimately, to put it in a nutshell, I think some of these comeback fights here, I don't expect these comeback fights to be on pay-per-view. I'm not sure that people will be paying for them on pay-per-view this month, or these 5 events that Eddie Hearn's going to be putting in to welcome in boxing. And I don't think that Dillian Whyte is going to be boxing in that situation in Eddie Hearn's backyard. I think Eddie Hearn has come out, was it today or yesterday, whatever, and said that it is unlikely that Dillian Whyte is going to be fighting Povetkin in the UK. They've had some offers from various places where they can have audiences, appropriately spaced audiences, and I can see that fight happening over there in Europe somewhere. They had an offer from Croatia recently. Was it Croatia? Yeah, it was Croatia. They've got an auditorium over there, but it's more like an amphitheater. Well, it is an amphitheater built by the Romans, and I think that could be quite a setting, quite a spectacular setting. But yeah, I said it. Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin may not occur in the UK. But as for the fights that are occurring, I think primarily they're not going to be pay-per-view. They're not big enough cards. Maybe I could be proved wrong. Maybe we will be paying pay-per-view money for some of these fights. Hey, if they're great fights, then so be it. But the Povetkin versus Dillian Whyte fight, that will be pay-per-view. Yeah.
Right. You know, just like if Fury and Joshua ever get in the ring, that has to be pay-per-view.
Obviously.
Yeah. So, you know, it's really just taking a risk in business and stepping out of your safety zone and asking people for more than what they're already giving you. And the few that fall off, it'll be more that say, okay, we understand, just as long as this doesn't affect us once everything goes back to normal. Whatever normal is in this world now, right?
Mm-hmm. What did you just say? What did you just say?
Whatever normal is in this world.
Whatever normal is in this world.
Normal is, yeah. Did you hear me?
No, I don't understand what you're saying. What did you say?
Okay, let's say they finally come up with the cure for the virus and the world goes back to normal. Whatever normal is in everybody's world, right? Okay, then you know they don't have to charge people extra because there's no more virus, no more need for you to be spacing and stuff. You could go back out and you could come to the arenas and things will be back to normal, whatever the heck that means in anybody's world.
Okay. Yeah, presumably we will see a return to some kind of normality at some point. The timetable for that, I have no idea. But people need to get back to work. If lockdown continues, it's not good at all. It's either safe or it's not, says Reverend Pickles.
Reverend Pickles. I haven't stopped working.
Oh,
I'm blessed for that. I'm blessed for that. I'm not using that,
Yeah, you're blessed for that. You're not not dipping into your savings or nothing of that nature.
No, I've been very blessed, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a blessing, no doubt. No, Terry, Philip Carl Roberts says Terry Harper won't be PPV though. No, I don't see that as being PPV at all. Not at all. I think
that could be an undercard fight.
I think, Pete, the point is people may have to pay more to watch pro boxing or pros won't get paid. People.
Yeah, and all these small. If you know what I was thinking, right?
What was you thinking?
Hello?
What was you thinking?
I was thinking, yeah, I'm still here, man. That's somebody cutting grass you hear, and I'm trying to get a stronger signal. But when Don King lost Tyson because of him being in jail, everybody said, okay, he's not going to make any money. What he did is he used Chavez as a headliner, and then it was Chavez versus so-and-so. Then it was champion this versus that versus this champion that versus this champion, and then a whole lot of small fights that were very good fights. Number 2 versus number 3, number 4 versus number 5. And before you looked at it, and you would look up and realize, wow, this is a great card. And his cards turned out great, and he kept making money. You could take the same model and do it here for all of the guys that are smaller guys, right? You could put them on these bigger fights, put them on the undercard, right?
Mm-hmm.
This way everybody eats right, the mighty and the meek, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody could eat, man. Everybody, look, people, listen to me. People when they want something, they're gonna give some pushback, but overall they're just trying to get what they want at a certain price. But everybody meets in the middle. I'll give you a perfect example. If you want 30%, then ask for like 75. Right? If you want 30%, then you insult them. Say, okay, well give me 60%. And by the end of the whole conversation, you'll end up with probably 35 or 30%, which is what you wanted in the first place, right? Mm-hmm. It's called compromising. That's all it is. And because at the end of the day, if you're not making any money and I'm not making any money, we got to figure something out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. It's called compromise, baby. It ain't called, because you can't play hardball now. You can't turn around to someone and say, I'm not taking this $100 million because of slave wages. Okay, well, you will die alone because ain't nobody gonna work with you. You will just die alone.
Yep. Yes. Okay. So, talking about Dan's losing, the zone losing subscriptions. Well, yeah, I'm sure they are. Because there's nothing to watch. But once there's something to watch, then I guess they'll get back subscriptions. It's pretty logical if you can cancel. The monthly people. Well, having said that, the monthly people are paying more anyway. So I don't know how that factors in. How do you calculate that? What the maths are on that? The people who have the yearly, whatever subscriptions you got, I don't see them. Maybe some organizations might give you a free month because they're not providing you with what they're supposed to be providing you with. But yeah, I think it's logical they're going to be losing a certain amount of subscriptions, the zone. But I would imagine once the fights start again and the sports start again, and they'll get back subscription. So everybody who subscribed before, I would imagine they would resubscribe. And also, I wonder about the rate of losing subscriptions. I wonder about the rate because a lot of people don't bother canceling things. A lot of people don't cancel things. They don't bother. They just let it run until the end. How many people take out gym subscriptions and then don't go and don't cancel? That's just the reality of subscription-based apps or items. So there you have it. There you have it. It's going down. It's the what do they call it? What did they call it exactly? Okay, they called it. What is it? What is it? What's the exact term? They had a specific term. I'll find it in a second. No, that's not even the story. Eddie Hearn, where is it? It's here. Okay. A series of fight nights in the garden. Okay. Fight nights in the garden. That's what they're calling it. So yeah, the fight nights in the garden, they're gonna usher the zone boxing back in. When did he specifically say? Let me see this here. What is it? Hearn says he's planning fight nights on 4 consecutive Saturdays. Okay, that's what I was looking for. 4 consecutive Saturdays in July and August. Okay, so that's the time frame, July and August. Okay, so there we go. Now you know. There you go. And where are we? Back into this thing. And how do I think? Do I go into that story? Do I go into that story? I think I shall. It's on my mind. Needs to be gone into. Let me bring it up. Let me bring this up right here. Yep. Here it is. Let me share. Sharing is caring. So let me share with you. Okay, so am I sharing? I think I'm sharing. Okay, so. Oh, hold on. Dubois. So you can see the headline: Daniel Dubois versus Joe Joyce. Now, the new date is July the 11th. When was this written? No, this is March. This is old news. That's not it. Stop sharing. That's not what I was looking for. That is not what I was looking for. Where is it? Right here. You're getting destroyed. Where's the latest story? That's April 16th. That's April 16th. Okay, so I can't see the story here, but I thought it was canceled again. I thought Dubois v. Joyce was canceled again. Huh. Maybe it was my imagination. Maybe it was my imagination. It's on for the July 11th. Still on according to this. It's still on according to this. I could have been imagining it. Enter, in comes Big Boys Boxing. Big Boys Boxing, how you doing?
Back for a little bit.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I thought, am I sharing this? No, I'm not. I thought that I heard somewhere that Dubois Joyce had been postponed again. But now I've done an internet search and I'm not seeing it's been postponed. I don't know. Was it my imagination? I mean, it's on. It says it's on. Dubois v. Joyce confirmed for the O2 on July the 11th. But have you heard anything that it's been recancelled?
Yeah, I remember something that it was possibly going to be postponed until later in the year as well. But I've just done a quick search as well and can't find anything to say so.
I'm perplexed. I am perplexed. I didn't click on any links. I just thought I heard it, and I said, "Yeah, I must ring that up." And now I'm seeing it's on. I've typed in Dubois v. Joyce, and I've seen nothing recently that says that this date is off. I am perplexed. So, as far as I know, hold on, let me go check the chat. So, if somebody knows something that I don't know. No, nobody said anything to the contrary. No one has said anything to the contrary. An internet search says that Dubois v. Joyce is on. Could have swore I heard something to the contrary, but I'm not seeing anything to the contrary. Maybe it is on. I'm not going to say it's on. I'm just saying that the articles that I've seen suggest that it is on. So, boom, I guess it's on. I don't know. I thought it was off, but they're saying it's on. So maybe it is still on. Obviously, it could change. Well, I mean, where are we now? We're in May, June, July. Are they gonna? It's supposed to be at the Royal Albert Hall. Are they going to have people in the crowd in Royal Albert Hall? Oh, it's the O2 Arena. Sorry. Oh yeah.
The original was at Royal Albert, wasn't it? The first time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. It is the O2. I haven't heard anything. Man, maybe Rafi's hallucinating. Maybe Rafi is having some kind of hallucination. I don't know. But we don't know any different. We haven't heard any different. Well, I thought I heard something different, but I can't see anything different. It looks like Dubois v. Joyce is still on. Boom. We've gone 3 hours, and that's long enough for me. Big Boys Boxing, I think I cut you off. You was about to say something, I think.
I'm just looking at an article here. It's saying there's tickets on sale, but it's supposed to be with no crowd. But I still don't hold high hopes that fight is going to go ahead. I can't see Frank Warren putting on a show without a crowd. For me, he needs that gate money. Yeah, with Queensbury being what £6 million in the hole or something, he definitely needs that money.
Yeah. So that is very surprising to me. Can't wait for the fight. Yeah, I mean, I'm very skeptical. I'm very skeptical about this O2 Arena thing. As has been said, Queensbury might not be Queensbury Promotions, Frank Aram's outfit. They might not be in the best position financially. They're not in a position to write off ticket sales. They want that. They want those ticket sales for the big fights. It's a tricky one. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But I'm not optimistic. I mean, I hope it happens, but I'm not optimistic that these two guys, Dubois and Joyce, are going to be fighting in full capacity arena in the UK in July. I simply can't see it. Just can't see it. Troy, Graham.
Sir. Yes, sir. The fight?
Dubois v. Joyce. I don't see them holding it in a full auditorium.
In July? What was that? 2 months? No. Not unless by some miracle everything changes and somebody said, boom, I have a cure and the whole world is cured. So no, I don't see that happening.
Hold on. I've just seen something. Big Boys Boxing posted up a link. Let me go have a little looky. Let me open up YouTube. Boom. Boom. Okay, the sound is still good. Let's have a look at this link, as you can't really deal with the links in StreamYards. You just post up a link?
Yeah, I think it looks well. It's got the same picture as the one that you're showing, but I think it's a different article.
I can't see Joseph Parker, Luke. Oh no, I'm in the wrong damn video. Okay, let's go. What? Oh yeah, no, I'm in the right video, but I can't see the link.
Actually, it might be the same one you're looking at. The one that you've got on stream. If you scroll down, has it got an article under it?
Where is it? Here. Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same one, mate. It's the same
Okay,
one.
no problem. So let me just have a little look to see if I'm missing something with this article. Let me move my mic. The big, much anticipated. The pair will duke it out on the O2 Arena, London, Saturday, the 11th of July, British Commonwealth. The fight has been brewing. Yeah, there can be little. Yeah, looking. I think I'm bet. No, it's not talking anything about how the impact of the virus is going to affect this. All I see is ticket prices £400, ringside hospitality 300, floor 200, 150, £100 for tier 1, tier 2. Cheapest price is the upper tier of £40. I don't know.
It doesn't have a date on the article when it was published, so we don't know how
current it is
recent.
or not.
Yeah. Was it right down the bottom, maybe?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy where we're going to leave it like there. We're going to leave it right there, up in the air. Questions will be answered in future videos, etc., because this has got me curious now. So I'm going to have to do a little research project on this. I thought I knew something. Turned out I didn't know what I thought I knew.
Hate that.
So now this has got the Rafi very, very curious, as I'm sure you will appreciate. Utter madness, complete and utter madness. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, guys, it's 3 hours. I like to keep it to around 2.5 hours these days, but it's gone 3 hours and the conversation was flowing. I don't think there was much fat on this one. It was all lean. It was all lean material that you was getting. And at this point, I'd like to thank everybody for coming in. Everybody in the chat. I'd like to thank everybody who's watching in the present and in the future. What else? What can I say? Big Boys Boxing. Thank you for jumping on. Troy, thank you for jumping on. Who else jumped on? Oh, yeah, the Fight Doctor. Most definitely. Thank you all for jumping on. Big Boys Boxing. This guy's on channel. Be sure to check him out. Big Boys Boxing. Your final words, please. And thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on for sure. Always a pleasure. Nice to meet you, Troy, as well. And Fight Doctor, even though he talks us in circles a lot.
He said you can't debate with, he says he can't, what did he say? I won't debate with equals. No, I only debate with equals. Everybody else I teach.
Yeah, nobody else talks in circles like that dude does. And,
maybe he was teaching himself. The Fight Doctor. Maybe he was teaching yourself. Maybe you're gonna watch it back and learn something. That's just my joke. It's all fun over here.
No offense, it's all entertainment, isn't it?
All entertainment. It's all entertainment. Your final words, my good man.
Yeah, man. Just appreciate you having me on, and I hope everything gets back to normal in the next sort of 3 months. Would be great. I can't expect too much from boxing. We'll just take what we can get and be happy with that.
100% take what you can get. We live in strange times, but you have to make the most of it. Life, I put it to you, life is what you make it. Life's what you make it out there. Count your blessings. Comes to me, there's been some crazy things going on. There's people taking their own lives in the COVID era. And, it kind of, I wake up in the morning and I say, I thank the heavens. I thank the heavens that I'm not in a mindset. I'm not in the mindset that somebody would have to be to just say, forget it. I want out. I want out. You know, I just I'll say thank God. I just thank God that I wake up appreciative. You know, mental illness is a real thing. And one of the things it can inhibit, it seems, it can inhibit appreciation for what you've got. I'm thinking of someone in particular, a guy who had, he was living good. He was living good. He had sponsorship. He was getting money. He had family. And that still wasn't enough. That still wasn't enough to have him appreciate what he had. Sometimes, big boys boxing, I think some people don't appreciate what they have.
I agree. And I have a quote for you that sums it all up for me. It's not one day that you are here on this earth has been promised to you. So treat every day as if it was your last and every breath as if it was the same.
100%, 100 trillion %. I have a message for everybody that I feel compelled to give. And that's just appreciate what you've got. It's very simple, but appreciate what you've got. I wake up every day, every morning I wake up and I say, thank God. I have my home, I have my roof, and I have my food, I have my bike, my car, I have my transport. I wake up every morning, and I'm not just saying this, bro. I wake up every morning, I feel blessed. I feel blessed to have what I have and to appreciate what I have. Too many people don't appreciate the blessings, don't count the blessings, take things for granted, think that they're owed something. You ain't owed ish.
That's right.
Yeah,
and no matter what you've got, whether you don't have much or you're very rich, but always remember there's always someone that's worse off than you. So appreciate what you got.
Appreciate what you have. And with that, big boys boxing, I'll say good night until the next time. Catch you on the next one. Big boys. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Thank you very much. And then there was Troy. Your final words. The message I'm giving to people is appreciate what you have. I wake up every morning. You might think I'm saying this, but I wake up every morning feeling blessed that I have good health, my roof over my head, my car to get me to work and back, and my bike just to make me feel happy.
Yeah, I don't take anything for granted, man. Every second, every minute, and all that. You're talking to someone who survived strokes. I was born with a congenital heart disease, and I have a defibrillator, and I'm still here. And, so I don't take anything for granted whatsoever, every minute, every day. Sometimes I stop at this park down here that's by the water, right?
Yeah.
I just chill. I just watch the happenings,
I got a park just down the road. I got a park just down the road. When I ride past, ride past, or I walk past, or I ride in, and I walk in. It's just literally down the road. I'm blessed for that too. It's literally less than 5 minutes away. Well, it's 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes walk.
And I'm gonna share this with people since we're sharing messages. In 2003, I was broke. I lost. I was a contractor. I was a contractor with another contractor who was doing cable. And I was doing well while he was here, but he had a big job in Texas and he wanted me to come. Actually, two things were going on. The contractor wanted me to go to Texas with him. He's going to pay me a lot of money to be a part of the crew in Texas. But my wife at that point was pregnant with my second child, and he had already stopped breathing a couple of times in the womb. So I couldn't leave her to go through that alone. Right.
Right.
And then at the same time, I was offered to be a writer for Mace. He was a preacher / rapper at the time.
Yeah.
He was in the church, out of the church. He was putting together like a rap gospel group or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I met some of his people flying me out to Atlanta. Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like the week before I was supposed to go to Atlanta, I had to call and cancel because the cord had wrapped around my child's neck in the womb and he stopped breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's not good. Yeah.
No, not good at all. And the doctor, and this is the important part, the doctor, we did the x-ray and all that. And the doctor said to us, well, your child's going to be born with a handicap. And he showed us the x-ray. Half his head was deflated and half his head was normal. Wow. And I said, I don't mean any disrespect to you, doctor, You have your science. I have my faith in God. That child is now 18 and is 6'6". Besides being stubborn and being a hardhead, he's fine, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and I like I said, I don't take anything for granted. I'm gonna leave you with this because I got these 3 P's I share with my sons, nephews, and nieces. I said, if you want something, you pray, then be patient, but make sure you have a purpose when you pray, because it makes no sense to pray unless you have a purpose, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh Lord, oh Lord, can you give me these lottery numbers? Oh Lord, can you give me this girl or what? Now, then guess what? You're gonna be praying that until you drop dead, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And just be patient. Just be patient.
Yeah, let's be patient, and all I can say is it's hard work. Hard work wins the day. Hard work wins the day. Can't be asking for nothing. Can't really be asking for nothing else. Yeah, asking for nothing. Can't be asking for nothing. You have to just put the work in, make a decision, what you want to do, pick a course, and follow that course. Follow that course.
Yes, sir.
There ain't no shortcut. There ain't no shortcut. There ain't no ways around it. It's hard work wins the day.
And book out there, Raphael, called Hung by the Tongue.
Right.
So be mindful of what you speak and put in the air, and that's in the story for another day, man. So you be blessed, and thanks for giving me the time. I gotta go and find it. I'm looking for something now, but I'll find it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll stick on the line because we're closing the show now. It's the close of the show right now. Stick around. Post-show chat. Okay. So that has been. Oh Lord. James, how do you do?
LDBC, baby. LDBC for life. Ring IQ, rest in peace, man. I body Ring IQ. Take a look, Ralphie. Look at the waves of the babes. Now look at that boy shining, ain't it, man? Look at them waves now. This natural.
Okay, natural. H Money. What joys? What joys do you have to share with us today? As we, Troy, if you gotta go, you gotta go, man. I'll give you a text. We'll talk on text.
I'm still here.
Okay. Rafi,
cool.
Rafi, I didn't come here to disrespect you, but the last time I came here, I felt a little bit disrespected by you.
How did you feel disrespected?
Okay, I just want to be honest because I'm not gonna hold nothing back. I don't want to be fake about it. It's just like you chose a side. You chose you automatically you felt like I was wrong. You know what I mean? Without even hearing my piece, and you wanted to. I've been showing you the utmost respect, Rafi. That's how I feel. And it feel like you just went against me for no reason and you chose a side, But I'm over it. I'm not here to disrespect you.
What did I do? What did I do against you?
You took a side with the other guys for no reason without hearing me out. And you said, I had proofs. I have proof that the guy called me out my name. He called me the N-word. He admitted to using the N-word, bro. I even have audio footage. So Rafi, you have nothing to do with it. I don't want you to get involved. I don't get involved in your beefs, So please, I
ain't got no beef. I ain't got no beefs, really.
Yeah. I respect you. I don't choose any sides when it comes to your situations. And if I did in the past, I ask for forgiveness. So Rafi, I forgive you. I'm not gonna hold no grudges. When I come here, I come to talk boxing. But I did put your Ring IQ in the dirt, man. I did body the guy. I caught a body, man. The H for H money stands for homicide. So I just dropped the video. You guys go check it out. You seen what happened to your boy, the Boxing Jedi? Man, he got that work.
Hold on. Don't talk about the Jedi because the Jedi comes over here sometimes. So can't be having no. Can't do that. All right, carry on.
For sure. Yes, I respect the show, man. The topic I see you got Joseph Parker versus Lucas Browne. Let's talk boxing, bro. That's why I'm here.
We'll just where do you see? Okay, yeah, just talk about that because we've already chopped it up. So if you got anything you want to add as we closing now, we're kind of closing out. So if you've got anything you want to add on at the end with the Joseph Parker thing, Joseph Parker is fighting Lucas Browne now. He's fighting Lucas Browne over in New Zealand. And people are questioning what sounds am I hearing? People are questioning. Well, damn, is that the best you can do? Is that the best you can do? You know, Joseph. You know, Lucas Browne, who got knocked out by Lucas Browne got knocked out by Dillian White, and then he got knocked out by David Allen. You know that Lucas Browne?
Yes, Lucas Browne. He's about 6'9", isn't he? Very tall. A former.
He's just average 6'2", 6'3", something like that. Average height for a heavyweight these days. Where's the picture? Let me pull up his picture. Where is he? Where is Lucas? Lucas, open sesame. There he is. Boom. Boom.
Oh yeah, I've seen him before. I've seen him fight on the Zone. I know he's a matchroom fighter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, he's an Australian guy, and Joseph Parker's New Zealand. So they're both they're next door neighbors. So I think that gets around the what do you call it? The travel bans.
Okay. Well, Rafi, man, thanks for having me on the show, man. You know, I love to talk about boxing. And thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it. I want to go into it by saying that Joseph Parker is one of the most underrated fighters in the heavyweight division, possibly one of the most underrated fighters in boxing. Just look at the resume for this former heavyweight champion, former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Joseph Parker, the first man to beat Andy Ruiz. He gave us the blueprint on how to beat Andy Ruiz. You know, he's a great boxer, a great technician in the ring. Rafi, also, Joseph Parker been in there with Dillian White, you know, knocked down Dillian White, was in a close fight with Dillian White. Joseph Parker been in there with Anthony Joshua. I'm sorry, what was that, Rafi?
Yeah, I said, yeah, I agree. Yeah, close fight with Dillian White. Yep.
Very close fight. He showed us the heart that he can get off the canvas and continue to fight like a true champion. Also, Joseph Parker, he been in there with Anthony Joshua, went 12 rounds. If I'm not mistaken, he's the first fighter to go 12 rounds with Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, that's true as well. That's all correct. That's all factual. That's all factual. So yeah, I think Joseph Parker. I think Browne is not Joseph Parker's level, nowhere near it. But it's the COVID era, there's travel bans, so really it's a question of just what fights can you make rather than what fight is optimal.
Yes. You're right, Rafi. See,
Browne is 6'5". Hold on, Browne is, somebody corrected me. They just said Browne is 6'5". Wow, I didn't know that. So you're right, he is taller than average. Okay.
Yes, and shout out to my friend Kieran Betts in the chat. He's a good friend of mine. I love you, brother. You know what I mean? I just want to say this, Rafi. Joseph Parker is very underrated. He has tremendous skills. He's a boxer puncher. He showed us that he can go 12 rounds and outbox Andy Ruiz. You know, Andy Ruiz is a top 5 heavyweight in my eyes. The first man, the only man to beat Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz. And Joseph Parker outboxed him in my eyes and made it look easy. So Joseph Parker is very underrated. He'll fight anybody. He's a technician in the ring, and he has a lot of skills. So he's still a major player in the heavyweight division. And I love this guy. He's just a very great fighter, and he has a lot of heart. Anything else? Well, I feel like this. As far as the matchup with Lucas Browne, like you said, it's because of the coronavirus. We're just getting back into boxing, and it's very hard right now with like you said, the traveling bans to make the big fights. So I'm just happy to watch boxing. So Rafi, is this official that Lucas Browne versus Joseph Parker is going to happen?
No, that's a good question. No, it is not official. It's the fight they're trying to make. The Zone and the Zone and what's his name? David Higgins. David Higgins is Parker's trainer. Parker's trainer, not trainer, manager. Higgins is Parker's manager, and he is the one who has put that story to the press in an interview. He said that's the fight they're trying to make. It's the logical fight under these circumstances. So that's the fight they're trying to make. And my next question to you is do you think, because this was a two-part topic, do you think that what do you think? What are your feelings on the voices that say, primarily New Zealand voices, I think, that say that Dillian White owes Joseph Parker a rematch? They don't say that owes it, but it seems like that's the tenor, that's the tone. Does Dillian White owe Joseph Parker a rematch? We've already chopped it up, but it'd be good to get your perspective.
Well, I wouldn't say that he owes him a rematch, but it's a fight that I would like to see again. You know, it's a fight that I would like to see. Dillian White won the fight, but it was very close. It was very competitive, and it was very entertaining. Both of these fighters went down on the canvas, and they both got up and gave us a great fight. So it's a fight that I would love to see. And, you know, I think it should be a rematch eventually in the near future, but I don't think it deserves an immediate rematch. But, you know, possibly for both of these fighters to get back in title contention, it's a fight that we would like to see. If they want to fight Anthony Joshua, maybe the winner later down on the line could face Anthony Joshua. I could see Usyk in the mix, possibly fighting Joseph Parker and Dillian White, you know, so we can get a super fight. But isn't Usyk ranked number 1 in the WBO?
The WBO, yes. Dillian White is ranked number 1 in the WBC.
Okay, so it feels like Usyk is already in line to get a shot at Joshua. So
yeah.
How do you feel about
Usyk's in line to get a shot at Joshua, and Dillian White's in line to get a shot at whoever the WBC champion is.
Which is Fury at the time, Tyson Fury.
Currently Fury, but there's a trilogy fight to go down, so, you know, we don't know for sure it's going to be Fury. Most likely, but not sure. So whoever it is, you know, whoever's holding the WBC belt come February 2021, then that's who Dillian White will presumably be fighting for the championship.
For sure, brother. You know, Alexander Usyk, he is one of my favorite fighters to watch. Has tremendous hand speed, came up from the cruiserweight division. I feel like he is the fastest heavyweight. He has the fastest hands in the heavyweight division and the fastest feet. The last undisputed champion in boxing, following the legacy of the great Evander Holyfield, you know, from cruiserweight, who also, Evander Holyfield was a cruiserweight, also undisputed cruiserweight champion, and moved up to heavyweight and became undisputed heavyweight champion. I can see Usyk becoming a champion as well. He has tremendous skills, Rafi, an Olympic gold medalist. I think that's a super fight in the near future between Joshua and Usyk. I think that's the fight to make on the Matchroom side, on the Zone Sky Sports Network. This is the fight that the people should see. You know, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, the trilogy will be happening very soon. So I feel like Eddie Hearn has to make a big fight in return to compete with PBC, compete with Top Rank and ESPN. He has to put on the Usyk versus Joshua fight, and I think it'll break possibly the records that Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz 2 made on Sky Sports pay-per-view. I think Usyk and Joshua should break that record. 2 Olympic gold medalists, you know, 1 undisputed champion, a 2-time unified heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua. You know, I think is going to be major. Any thoughts on Alexander Usyk and what he brings to the heavyweight division?
What do I think about Usyk? I think that Usyk, he's fought a heavyweight before, but he hasn't fought the elite at heavyweight before. So to me, the jury is very much out. I'm one of those people who's just going to wait and see. I can't make any predictions. Some people, you might be one of them, who thinks that Usyk might be the next great thing at heavyweight. I'm not one of them. All I'm saying is let's see what he's got at heavyweight. Let's see what he's got fighting the elite heavyweight. That's something we haven't seen before. That's something I'm looking forward to see. Troy Graham. Well, who's got music in the background, by the way? Is that you, H Money?
You can hear it. I think it's coming from upstairs. You can hear it.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's very.
Okay.
It's
Well,
very faint.
this is what I want to say about Usyk. Like you said, in heavyweight, okay, he had one fight at heavyweight in the division where he won by knockout against Chaz Weatherspoon. Chaz Weatherspoon, who been in the ring with some tough heavyweights such as Tony Thompson. He been in there with Seth Mitchell. Usyk knocked him out in his debut at a heavyweight, showing that he could carry. He can take his power to the heavyweight division. His power. It is definitely devastating in the heavyweight division. Also, he beat an undefeated heavyweight by the name of Michael Hunter. But he beat him at cruiserweight. But Michael Hunter is also undefeated in the heavyweight division. He also beat Joe Joyce in the World Boxing Super Series in the amateurs without headgear on. Another undefeated, a proven heavyweight, a veteran, and Joe Joyce. So I think Usyk, he beat some heavyweights already. And Rafi, as we know, skills pay the bills. In the history of boxing, we seen Michael Spinks move up from light heavyweight and become heavyweight champion. We seen Michael Moore, the great Michael Moore, move up from light heavyweight, became a unified heavyweight champion, a two-time heavyweight champion. And we seen Evander Holyfield from cruiserweight. So it's been done before. And I believe Archie Moore, if I'm not mistaken, Troy Graham, how are you doing, sir? Troy Graham, what is it true that Archie Moore moved up to heavyweight as well, Rafi? I think we watched the Archie Moore fight.
Yeah, he went
he
up
moved up to Fort Marciano. When it comes to Usyk, he's absolutely nothing at heavyweight. He hasn't done anything. He's just a cruiserweight, sure, but he hasn't done anything at heavyweight. I mean, he hasn't fought anybody yet. And he's supposed to fight Chisora. I don't know what's going on with that fight. If he beats Chisora, then you could say, okay, he did something. But he's nothing at heavyweight. He hasn't done anything.
Well, Troy, he did beat Michael Hunter, who's an undefeated heavyweight. He beat Joe Joyce.
Okay, and who's Michael Hunter?
Michael Hunter.
Who is Michael Hunter? I mean, I know who he is, but who? I know that. I even know who manages him, but who is he?
Michael Hunter,
in the greatest scheme
12 rounds with Povetkin, Olympic gold medalist, former heavyweight champion, and he took him to a draw. Michael Hunter, a tough customer.
Tier fighter at best. He's not. I've seen him fight. He's a second tier fighter at best. He's not gonna, trust me. He's not gonna crack the top. Not with that ugly style. No.
Well, he
can't really punch either.
He's trained by former heavyweight champion Hossein Rahman. I think Michael Hunter was also in the he was in a race to fight Anthony Joshua when Big Baby Miller had tested positive for steroids. It was between Michael Charr, Andy Ruiz, and Michael Hunter to fight Joshua at one point. So I believe he's a game opponent. He's undefeated in the division. Like I said, he went 12 rounds with Povetkin. I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you said somebody tested for steroids. Who?
Big Baby Miller. You remember Big Baby and Joshua was supposed to fight?
Yeah, Big Baby is a complete never was. I don't know why he gets so much. I mean, what has he done? What has he done, and who's he for?
Who?
Huh?
Who?
Big Baby
Miller. He's an absolute never was.
Well, he got himself in position to fight for the unified heavyweight belt. The unified heavyweight champion.
Based on his mouth alone.
Yeah, but he still did it. He got there. I mean, his fight, he ain't fought nobody. But he got into that position. And also, I don't think Big Baby Miller is any kind of pushover, really. I think Big Baby Miller is a problem in the heavyweight division. It's a shame that he did what he did, or maybe he got to the position because he did what he did. We're talking about the
top tier. He's not going to be a problem for the fighters.
Well, I don't know, man. He's a big lump, as we say over here in the UK. He's a big lump. We don't know what he looks like unassisted. We're waiting to find out what he looks like unassisted. Maybe the equation changes if he comes back unassisted. Presumably, when he comes back, he will be unassisted. Presumably,
No, but ask yourself this: why hasn't he jumped into the ring clean already and fought somebody that the people know, just to show the people, look,
well,
this is my.
he's just come back. He's just signed with Top Rank. He's just signed with Top Rank. So, and he's been suspended
but
since October, and now it's
yeah,
the COVID.
but he didn't need it to make a fight for him, right?
What? Say again?
Right. But he didn't need Top Rank or anybody else to make a fight for him. He could have made a fight himself because he's his own manager, right? He's his own promoter.
What kind of fight would he make by himself? Who's going to deal with him as acting on his own?
My point. Why didn't he take on someone we know? Like, say, take on a Charles Martin. He'll take on a.
He's going to need a promotional push for that. Surely, he's going to need a promoter for that. He's not big enough to do it on his own. He's not big enough.
That's my point.
And furthermore, he's already got a promoter. He already had a promoter. He's just got additional promoters now. He's with what's that guy's name? That little Jewish fella. A little Jewish fella.
Oh, who promotes Triple G? The guy who works with Triple G?
No, it ain't that guy. It's not Selecki. He's a boxer. But anyway,
the guy who works with Clarissa Shields that wear the little hat.
Yeah. That little guy. He's with that little guy's promotional company, and they've got shares in him, but they haven't got enough shares, so they're always selling out other shares. So now they brought in Top Rank. He's got about 3 promoters. Only one of them ever does the proper job. The other 2, I don't know what they do. Well, I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not there in the office. But anyway, he's always talked about promotional issues, how much he's paying to this promoter, that part owner. He's got a bunch of part owners. He's got a bunch of guys who part own him. So the thought of him working by himself, he don't work by himself anyway. He's contractually obliged. He's tied up. He's contractually tied up. Took deals, made deals. Made deals when he was just a zero profile fat boxer. When he switched over from kickboxing to boxing, orthodox boxing. So he made deals with this guy, that guy. He's got a bunch of shareholders in him. Yeah, he's not really his own guy at all, so he can't act as his own guy because he's not his own guy. But the bottom line is he's not with Salita anymore. Yeah, he's still with Salita. That little guy, Salita. But they're only part owners. He's got a bunch of people who own a share of the pie. He's like a pie. He's got chopped up different people, got different parts. He's always complaining about them. Dimitri Salita. Thank you very much. You see, I pretend as if I don't know the name of a guy, so I know people will jump in who haven't seen it here before. Yeah, Dimitri.
I'm just tired of hearing his name. Because he hasn't accomplished anything in his career to have this much push behind him. Not a blasted thing.
Well, people get pushed behind him because they think that he can do something. They think he can be a factor. They think he can be a force. And assisted, he looks a problem. It's a big lump. It's a big lump that keeps on going. That's a problem. We don't know if it's going to still be a big lump that keeps going when he comes back. I mean,
he's a bigger fraud than Wilder. At least Wilder was champion. This dude is just a fraud that never did anything.
Boom. But he's in a position, whatever. He's in some kind of position. Top Ranker just hired him. We'll have to wait and see. The COVID era came. We don't know what's going on. 20 looks like the bulk of 2020 has been written off. It's unfortunate, but hey, we're still breathing. We're still alive. Back over 75%. Somebody just said add a link to join. What's your name? Harsha Verdun. Yeah, Harsha Verdun. It's great that you would ask, my friend, but we're kind of finishing the show now. We were finishing about 30 minutes ago, but H Money came on under the name of James, and we thought he was somebody else. Who comes on, and then H Money must be a big fan of the show, because how would he know that James is somebody that comes on here from time to time? How did you know that, H Money? You must be a fan of the show because you've been watching, and you know the guy called James comes on from time to time.
I do watch the show. I always tune in to watch Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. It's one of the best on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We giving you great boxing talk on a regular. Shout outs to Raphael. He's doing a hell of a job. Shout outs to Troy Graham on the panel, consistently putting in work, studying the sport of boxing. I actually agree with Troy Graham on this one.
Okay, that's cool.
I agree with him because Big Baby, like you said, he talks a good game. You know, he can talk his way into big fights, but I agree with Troy. He hasn't done anything to be a contender in the division right now. He hasn't beat anybody. So I agree with Troy for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you know, people just come on and say what you feel, man. There's no agendas around here. Every individual comes on and say what that's the only requirement. That's the only requirement over here at Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. Come on and say what you feel. Do I want to get your take on what else did we talk about with that Joseph Parker thing that lasted a long time because I wanted to thoroughly chop that up. So there could be no more issues, no more questions. You know my position on it. Joseph Parker, Dillian White. Oh, you didn't hear my position. I'll give you this little jewel, H Money. My position on it is that Dillian White is under as much obligation to give Joseph Parker a rematch as Joseph Parker was when he beat Andy Ruiz by a wafer-thin margin. But where was the Andy Ruiz rematch? Never happened, did it?
No, it never happened. I agree with you. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's just common logic. It's just pure. It's the purest logic. One man's asking for a rematch from another man, but that same man didn't give a rematch to another guy in a pretty much parallel situation. And so that was the big talking point. That was the big talking point that we went through here today on boxing. Yep, carry on.
I just want to say this about Andy Ruiz and Joseph Parker. I feel like Andy Ruiz doesn't want that rematch with Joseph Parker. You know, styles makes fights, and
I think he lobbied for it. He lobbied for that fight. He wanted it. He does want that fight. He felt that he was robbed, and it was a wafer-thin decision. A lot of people say, including, you know, it could have gone either way. It was a 50-50. And so the equation is that Joseph Parker didn't give Andy Ruiz a rematch. And then why should Dillian White in a pretty much a parallel situation? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand. You know, I feel you on that one. But if they do fight again, I just think Joseph Parker beats him again. From just judging by Andy Ruiz's last performance against Joshua, how he came in overshaped. I think if he comes in like that against Joseph Parker give him a boxing lesson. That's how I feel.
Yeah. But it was wafer thin last time.
Okay, well, I have a question. How come we didn't give him a boxing lesson in the first fight? You know, both of them had the same amount of time to train.
I thought he did. Me personally, I felt like Joseph Parker won decisively on that fight. And I remember we did a film study a couple months ago when I used to be on the Boxing Voice, and Nestor Gibbs, he did a film study on that fight, and we rewatched it. And Joseph Parker, to me, beat him decisively. That's just me. I watched it, and I felt like he beat him.
Okay, well, you know, Nestor Gibbs and the fight study in the same breath makes me laugh. And he knows that because he doesn't study boxing. He just talks boxing. So we're going to move on from that one. And,
I'm sorry, Troy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I saw him outboxing Parker. And then the first knockdown really wasn't a knockdown. It was a headbutt. Everybody thought it was a hook. And he went down from the headbutt. But the second knockdown,
talking about a different fight, though.
Yeah, you talking about a different fight, brother.
You're talking about a different fight, though.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about Parker and White.
No, he was talking about Parker and Ruiz.
No, I was talking about Parker and Ruiz, Troy. That's the fight I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I didn't really see that fight. I saw highlights, so I can't really comment on it.
Yeah. What I was saying was, and Joseph Parker outboxed Andy Ruiz. That's what I was saying.
I disagree with you on that. I think it was a wafer thin. It was wafer thin. It could have gone either way, but everybody sees things their way, don't they? So it's fine. It's no right or wrong decision. That's the way you saw it. That's the way you saw it. I thought it was wafer thin, and I thought if that fight had happened in the USA, then Andy Ruiz would have got the nod.
Sure, for sure, man. Appreciate the time, Rafi. I know you're gonna shut it down really soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Quick shout outs to everybody in the chat. Like I said, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. I am H Money, Mr. The Zone. You guys can come check me out on my channel. And I got videos right now, very entertaining, exposing ring IQ. So tune in, man. It's must-see television. Troy Graham, I don't mean any harm. You know, I forgive me if I ever said anything wrong to you, sir. You know that I really respect you. We had talks outside of YouTube, me and you. I don't talk to a lot of people. I don't talk to people off of YouTube, but me and you had talks. Forgive me. I know I said some things wrong towards you, but if you can set up a debate between me and Ring IQ, I would love it, and I would gladly take him to school. Thank you so much, guys.
That was H Money coming on under the pseudonym of James. Thank you, H Money. As long as you keep it clean, you know, it's all good in the hood. As long as you keep it clean over here. Okay, so now we get to the end of the show. This one's been longer. This one's been long. It's long. It's a long thing. I don't like to do them too long, but you know, the topics, we chopped it up. There's no fat in here. It was pure lean meat. So, you know, if it's lean meat, if it's lean and it goes that long, it just goes that long. What the hell can I do? That's just the way it is. I try to keep it because me personally, I'm not fond of things. If I see something's gone on for hours and hours and hours, I'm probably not even going to click the link. That's just me. But there are other people who love this kind of long boxing chat. Well, it's been all good. A variety of guests and hosts and co-hosts have come on. So yeah, I think it's all good so long as it's not just chatting for the sake of chatting. I don't like the way when I lean on this chair, it looks like my shoulders are lopsided. They're not. It's just the awkwardness of the positioning and the chair arm, etc., etc. But yeah, I think it's been a good one. What is it? What is this? What is this called? Let's have a look. Let's remind ourselves. Let us remind ourselves of that which it is. Okay. It's Tyson. It's Holyfield. It's Parker. Did we talk about Teofimo? No. I'm not going to talk about him now. I'll leave that one. I'll let that one roll over. I'll let that one be a rollover. So it has been Boxing Talk with Rafi. 1, 2, 4. We chopped up all of those above mentioned things. And yeah, what can I say? That is the end of the show. Troy Graham rejoins us. Where are we? That's the end of the show, folks. Let me take this banner down. Let's to remind ourselves that's that. Okay, Troy Graham, your final words, please. I think you said your final words?
Yeah, pretty much good show, man. I gotta go because you know I'm eating kind of late today. I'm making I got some jerk fried rice going on. So yeah.
Yeah, man, get your food in and we'll talk shortly. As a matter of fact, stick around because I'm closing this out now. Just give me 30 seconds, 15 seconds.
All right, bro. You have a good night.
Okay, man. Okay. So that has been Boxing Talk with Rafi 124. We've had Troy Graham on. We have had Big Boys Boxing. We've had the pleasure of the Fight Doctor once again. And we had James. We finished off with James, otherwise known as H Money, came in under a pseudonym. Full of tricks, that guy. Full of tricks. And so there's not much left to say other than thank you all for attending and listening to what I think was some great boxing chat. And yeah, you know, we've got Rick Glazer coming back. He's jumping on with us. Have some questions ready for Rick. He'll answer anything, any of your questions. That's going to be Wednesday. And then Friday, we're going to do, what do they call it? Call it Boxing Talk and Classic Fights Review. So, what can I say? Let me get the right thing up. Let me get the right banner up. Let's get this thing in order. Let's finish this thing in order. Joseph Parker versus Lucas Browne in August, New Zealand. And what else? What was the proper banner? The proper banner was this. And that's how we came in. And that is how we go out. And my message is be thankful and be appreciative of the things you have. Count your blessings. Understand that you're living, you're alive, you got food on the table, and there's somebody out there that loves you. Hopefully. Yeah, Boxing Talk with Rafi. It's been a good one. And let me set this thing up. Where am I? Where am I in the chat? Where am I? I can't see myself. There I am. I hope the volume is down. And the only thing left for me to say is blessed.